Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
This is a test. This station is conducting a test of the emergency broadcasting system. This is only a test.
Welcome. This is the Jeranism show.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This is the Speaker's Corner, where we speak truth, see truth. Speaker's Corner, yeah, they see through, we see you. Speaker's Corner, where the people get to talk, where real ideas and thoughts spark. This is all on the Speaker's Corner. 3 minutes hit the spotlight. Speaker's Corner, where 3 minutes gets your mind right. Speaker's Corner, where the people get to talk, where real ideas and thoughts spark. This is all on the Speaker's Corner.
What it is, my friends, welcome to another episode of Speaker's Corner. What number are we up to now? It's getting hard to believe. We are at episode number 53 with a 4-minute time clock. It is Speaker's Corner. If you want to join the show, you can go to tinyurl.com/cornerism and you will get in line. Just remember to mute the YouTube or Rokfin page and listen on the StreamYard page. And then you will be live with me when I call you onto the show. You get your 4 minutes to say whatever you want. And if you want to gamble, you can. And by gamble, I mean you can attempt to win a hat. You have a 50-50 chance of either winning a hat or having to buy a hat. So you can take that chance if you want. If you lose, you can go for double or nothing, at which point you can end up either winning 2 hats, a hat and a beanie, or you can end up being down 2 hats and owe me for a hat and a beanie, or you break even. That's about it. But you can decide when you call in if you'd like to go for the money or for the, whatever we call it, for the hats. All right, let's bring everybody aboard. Hope everybody's doing well. And I just want to mention, if you didn't watch the Jeranism show, then you may not know that Saturday we are doing a little experiment, little observation over at the Monterey Bay. Would love for you to join us if you'd be so kind. If you're in the Bay Area or near Santa Cruz, Monterey area. We are going to have some of us at Pacific Grove at the Lovers Point, and everyone else will be at New Brighton Beach. We're asking people to bring a mirror. The bigger, the better. But New Brighton Beach by 12 noon Pacific on Saturday. Weather looks like it's going to be great. We are stoked about it. My camera look dark? No, that's right. It'll, look at that globe just spinning. So, how does anybody deny that? We're just there. We're just spinning, flying through space, 1.2 million miles per hour. It makes sense if you think about it. That how would a flat Earth work? Where would the water go? It just fall off. But the globe makes the globe makes sense. Right, it's pulling to the center. All the gravitational pull isn't a force anymore, according to all these top scientists. Michio Kaku, Brian Cox, all feel like saying, "Oh, well, there's not actually a force of gravity. It's like more, it's the curvature of the 4D space-time that we've made up, and that explains it all." Oh, okay, I had no idea. What do you know? Let's check the chat, see how everybody's doing. Hopefully everybody's doing well. I'd like to hope that. Let me see if my clock is working today. We got somebody here already. What do you know? What do you know? What do you know? Let me bring them in 1 second. As soon as I figure out what's happening here. Why is my clock not working? Let's check. We need a 4-minute clock. Is that going to work? I don't see a 4-minute clock coming up. Give me 1 second. I want to fix this. What is going on here? It's on there. Okay, it's turned on. Yes, clock. Okay. Let's see what I got here. I'll do this one then. Okay, and then what do you do for... remind me how you do that. Quiet down over there. I'm kind of confused here. What is this? Properties? Yeah, and then it writes to a... Okay, it's writing to that. It's good. I wonder why it's not working. This one? Okay, well, let's bring on the first person. We're just going to have to keep track of time in our heads for now while I figure out what the hell's going on with my clock. How about Alex? Welcome to the show. Alex, I don't know if you can hear me.
Hey, I can hear you.
There you go. Great. What's up? How's it going?
All right, doing well, bro. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Thanks.
Nice.
What
I was
can we do for you?
watching the video you posted earlier. I only got like 15 minutes in or something, but that Mazda story you told is actually hilariously bad.
Yeah, it's really bad. But, you know, I started thinking about it during the middle of the show when I was talking about Brenda and her coming into our chat and us removing her. It kind of hit me like, you know what? If Mazda doesn't want to do business with me, they have every right not to. So I'm like thinking again, I'm like, maybe I just chalk it up to, I don't know. I don't think you can demand that some business serve you. Now, it's ridiculously dumb, the reason that they banned me, but...
Yes, that part. It's like, are you kidding me? The survey, bro.
Yeah, I was looking on Reddit right now. I was looking on Reddit because I searched and then I saw a bunch of people saying, I guess, come to find out, those surveys are hugely important to Mazda dealerships, that it decides how many cars you get the following year. I don't know why they would ever do that. And the only score they accept is a 10 out of 10. So I read all these stories about when people buy cars there, then the salesman will say, hey, can you please do this survey and give me a 10 out of 10? If you're going to give me a 9 out of 10, tell me what was wrong and I'll try and fix it. So they're trying to get people, because they only want 10s out of 10s. So I gave him a bunch of 4s, so I could see why that kind of upset him. But I didn't know it had any, I just was trying to voice my opinion. And then I see people in the comments saying, like, why would you ever not give a real rating? It's not like anything can happen to you because you gave your real opinion. It's like, well, that's not necessarily true. You can be removed.
Like that, and we do surveys like that, and if we were to ever do that to like a customer, then like, you know, but we're all like, it's like a pretty big corporation, and but if that like got wind of like you like you were saying, like a district manager or
right,
whatever president, like that would be like a hellstorm for that person that did that.
I thought that's what was going to happen. I really thought that he was going to like get told you can't do that, and then, you know, the lady's like, they can do whatever they want. Buck stops here, guy. You know, whatever. Funny.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I have dude, I want you to, if you could maybe tell Flat Earth Dave, but I have the Twitter receipts of my lunch break, right?
Do I know your lunch break?
No. That's the channel, the YouTube channel, My Lunch Break, where he breaks down like old world.
Yes.
Like,
yep. I've seen it before.
Yeah. So I actually tweeted at him, and I was like, "Hey, like I hella like your channel. Like I got it from like Flat Earth Dave's. He has it posted on his app." And then the guy's like, My Lunch Break guy was like, he's like, haha. He's like, no way. He's like, I had no idea. That's crazy. And I was like, yeah. I sent him a screenshot. And then I went to go watch, this video, and the My Lunch Break guy, now he has Flat Earth Dave on, like, his recommended.
Oh, nice. All right.
Yeah, so it's crazy. Like, my Twitter's, like, totally just, like, whatever, just, like, a super low following. I just do it because I like all the shit on there.
Uh-huh.
You don't use Twitter that often, do you?
No, I need to use it more. I mean, I got banned, and then so I kind of got away from using it. And then they let me back a year later under the old account, and I just haven't picked it up where I left off. I do like it. I do like the idea of being able just to spout off when I have a thought.
Yeah, it's cool, dude. I wish like more people would use it because, people be posting.
I don't like the comments and all the replies. I mean, it gets way confusing. I'm sure there's an easy way to follow it, but I always get lost of like, well, who am I replying to? Like if you reply to a person's message, do you have to use the @ sign to them?
No. You just tap on it, and then like it's like a little message bubble, and then you just write back. It's pretty easy. But,
okay, and then it notifies them or something.
That is, I got part of like a thread like tagged, and like for the longest time it was just like it's tagging you. You just mute the conversation. And you don't get.
Okay, because people always tag me and things, and then I'm like looking. I'm like, what is this? None of this even to me. It's like, and then I get frustrated.
There it is. Hey, have you seen Andrew Kaufman or Thomas Cohen's interviews about virology?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
I feel like it took me like a year to actually find things about virology, but it was just like when you learn about like diets and like something that's kind of like just like shakes your world. Like, holy fuck, I had no idea. Like, I had some idea, but actually I had no idea.
Yeah, that's a crazy, and it wasn't that hard for me to adopt either. That's why I think flat Earth is hugely important, because it opens your mind to these other topics. So when somebody presents a better argument, then you can sway your opinion and say, no, I don't believe in germ theory anymore. I think there's a better explanation.
Yeah, totally. 100%. Yeah, it kind of like it's funny because like when they say like things ring true to you, it's like you kind of like gravitate towards it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's how I think it was probably Crow 777 that said it best one time, where he was talking about he has a pocket in the back and a pocket in the front and a pocket on the side, and basically he puts everything that he knows is not true, at least for now, in this back pocket, and then he puts the things in the front pocket that he thinks could be true, and then he puts other things that need to be looked at down the road, and he just kind of it's a mental thing. It's not really, you don't put anything in any pockets, but I like the thought of that, because that's how I look at everybody. I don't really watch somebody and just say, okay, I don't believe anything they say. Usually I listen for things that match my worldview and then adopt those, and then the things that don't, I just leave.
Yeah, like something interesting, like, oh, what the fuck do you mean? Like, you can't get sick? Like, what do you mean they didn't? Because again, do you mean they didn't know what a virus looks like? I in the fucking commercials, But then you kind of just realize, it's all brainwashing.
For sure. All right. Well, I don't know. My clock is having trouble here. Maybe not. We'll see if it works now. Let's see if this works. Go, clock. It might. Oh no, it's getting to air. What is that happening? All right. Well, you can talk forever until I figure this out.
No problem, dude. I'll try to help you out here. So speaking of Twitter, have you seen Eric Dubé's Twitter? He moved back, but now his Twitter is like some like fucking like, I don't know, like like an attorney or something, or like this.
What?
Yeah, like the actual Eric Dubé, like his actual account.
No, I didn't know that.
It's a different name. Yeah, it's hella weird, dude.
Like somebody took over his account, or what do you mean?
Like, I don't know if he's hacked or if it's just like he sold his account to like a random thing, but yeah, dude. Yeah, it's hella weird because he would I would message him, and he would take like a month or two, but he'd message back. And it looks like but no, he fucking, I don't know what's going on with him, but he is back in the States. Have you ever spoken to him?
Not really spoken to him, no. Just through videos or through comments or through his forum where he calls me a shill. That's about it.
Damn, that sucks. I know that part.
Yeah,
that's always people try to like rip on Flat Earth Dave too. And it's like,
dude, it's so funny. So I remember I just told you before the show I was looking at the Mazda Reddit, and there's somebody in there accusing people of being a shill. He's like, there's a bunch of dealership shills in here. That's the first time I ever heard that. Dealership shills now are all up in the Reddits. So be careful. Watch out for the dealership shills.
Hey, I remember you saying that you were religious and then you went to non-religion.
Correct.
Do you stand now, dude?
I believe in a creator for sure, and that's basically it. I don't think we can trust books written by men, and I think that God would expect us not to. So when I look at it and I say, who would I be more impressed at if I'm God? People who are just following the words of a book that we know were written by men and that we have no evidence that's written by God other than those men said so, or the people who are able to recognize that the God of the Bible is not who you would expect the creator to be. Now, there's some people out there that are so afraid of the creator that they're just going to worship him no matter what his traits are, and they believe that God is moral because he's God. So anything he does, flooding the world, sending people to hell, sacrificing his son, killing babies, telling people to break doves' necks and drip their blood 7 times on altars, all those things they just chalk up to they were needed at the time or it was part of the growth of humanity. Whereas anybody who's willing to be brave will recognize right away that that is the worst parenting you've ever seen. And there's just no way in my mind that I could ever be more a better parent than God. So I can chalk that up to, I kept hurting my foot earlier and didn't know what it was. It's a screw on the ground that I keep stepping on. It's no wonder it hurts. So that's my, huh?
Like a tack or whatever. Like
no, it's actually a screw. And I hurt myself
So-
twice during my last show, and I didn't know why. And then right now I hit it again, and I was like, "What is that?" Oh, it's a screw. Anyway, so I mean, that's my place, but I get it. Here's the thing, also, I recognize that the LGBTQ, AI plus, whatever's going on now, is only being stopped or held back because of Christians, like because of religious people. So I tend to look at it and I say, well, if it wasn't for the Christians, nobody would be doing anything, and it would just be running rampant. So I see the need for religion. I see the need for
Isn't it crazy, especially in California, how much like all like the teachers and like all this
oh,
shit?
it's insane. I just talked to a girl last night who said that her son, who's like in 9th grade at a Catholic school, or I can't remember if it's Catholic or Christian now. I think it's a Catholic school, 9th grade, and they've fully adopted it. They've, had drag queens in there. They've had trannies in there to like present, and like they're super woke. And it's, that's where it's like, okay, well, that's not, I don't know. But to me, I'm not one of those people who says like religion should be eradicated or anything like that. I think people need to have maybe a thought about the afterlife, or need to have like a moral code. Sometimes maybe it's they don't trust themselves, and so I see the goodness in it.
Do you think you just close your eyes and go away, or you think you come back?
I think that you can, there's a lot of options. I think you can close your eyes and be gone forever if you lived a terrible life. That's the end for you. If you were kind of in the middle, maybe got caught up in lies, maybe believed something that wasn't true, I think you do come back. And I do think people can graduate or move on to the next plane of existence by successfully navigating this life and staying away from lies and staying away from trouble, or from Satan, if you will, from the temptations of the wicked ones.
Yeah.
So that's
I don't want to take too much of.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, that's all good. I got to figure out what's wrong with my.
Okay.
I don't know why it's not working today.
What's up with have you tried fuck dude, I'm vegan, dude, so
You're being what?
have you done anything like diet change? Or I saw your video actually. I was showing your video about the water,
Right.
like brushing your teeth with like filtered water, and like every time I like brush my teeth now with like my faucet water, I'm just like, fuck, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, I would not do that. Because we know that, at least why I try and follow the kind of history of at least people for the last 100 years, it appears to me that in early 1900, people were smart, they were intelligent, they wrote really well, their grammar was excellent. Then around 1930, 1940, when fluoride was introduced into the water, people got dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber. Now we're like a shell of
Dude, I work with the public, and it's pretty insane.
Yeah, so I think that they've just done a successful job at dumbing down humans to the point where now most of them are just lethargic and basically go by to get by and do their 9-to-5 job and come home and watch sports and eat a bunch of food.
They're so big. I'm like, damn, their body is just struggling just to walk, just to talk. Like, they're out of breath, they're sweating. I'm just like, I feel so bad.
Yeah, totally. But what are you gonna do?
I know, because they don't want to hear like your advice or anything, and impose your beliefs on people and stuff. Even though like it's tough, because like people around me that I've actually hella trusted and liked and stuff, and like I mentioned some of these things, and like they just kind of just don't want to hear. They don't care about it. They don't.
There's some people like that. My friends are like that. Well, they started caring for a little bit, and then they went back to their. But these are the same guys putting masks on their wives and kids. So.
Yeah, fuck the masks.
Yeah, it's not like I'm even caring about them.
Shit again, especially after that whole virology thing. I'm just like, no fucking way.
It's just, there's never been more evidence that something didn't exist.
Yeah, the test that they did, like, okay, you get somebody sick, and like, you get people that aren't sick, and like they cough in their face, they ingest their mucus, they don't get sick.
Well, imagine too, like having to stick a cotton swab up somebody's nose almost to their brain to see if they're sick, but they tell us that it's getting out in their breath. If that were true, then I should be able to breathe on a paper like this or test it. Well,
Yeah.
Why would you?
exactly.
Why would you need to stick something all the way up in my nose? Then obviously, me talking to somebody or breathing on somebody isn't getting them sick. If you have to go inside my cranium, so
Yeah, the way that they did the test too, like injecting like animals in their brain, and then they like get paralyzed, and they're like, "Oh, there's the virus. It made them." I'm like, "What? Maybe fucking sticking a needle in their brain fucked them up. Not the fucking so-called."
could have been that.
virus.
You think so? I mean, it's a stretch, though. I think you're going out on a limb there.
Oh. All right, brother. Well, thank you so much.
Hey,
man.
thanks,
Thank you
bud.
bro.
All right.
Have a good.
Later. We are gonna have to go to a new clock because that clock is not working. Let's go with Alan. Alan, what's up, my friend? How are you? Oh,
Yo, what up, G? Can you hear me?
I hear you great. So I
Oh,
hear
yeah, what's
you
up,
are
man? How you
debating
doing?
next week. Is that true?
Yep, me and MC Tune.
Wow. Why are you subjecting yourself to that kind of mental anguish?
Well, he agreed to specific parameters, which I'm interested in. So
Okay.
which is Earth's motion through the relativistic paradigm. So like somebody to defend relativity and Earth motion, so all the interferometry stuff.
Oh, and he's going to
all the
defend
stuff
that.
that I've been looking into.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
That's what we're working out. Oh yeah, he hasn't messaged you yet on what we're working out. So we were.
He just
a
said that
quick
you were going to
question.
do your own layout. Is that what you
Okay.
mean?
No.
Oh.
We'll talk later then. Okay. No. We'll talk later then.
Okay.
Well, I came on to present some findings that I found recently. So
Beautiful.
If you want to start your timer or whatever, I'll
Yep.
share here.
It'll be
Actually,
a couple
it
seconds.
should be on my virtual cam, so I shouldn't even have to screen share. 1 second. I should just be able to transition. You see that?
Yep, we see it.
Perfect. Okay, so this is Dufour and Prunet, two Frenchmen in 1942 who did supplement Sagnac experiments, right? So the first experiment configuration that they did is that they reproduced the Sagnac experiment in its full effect, meaning that they changed nothing from the original configuration of the apparatus. They actually even were able to use some of the original parts that Sagnac used, and so the only difference that they did is they doubled the diameter of the spinning apparatus, right? It's the only thing that changed is they increased the distance of everything by twofold.
Okay.
So that's really it. So first experiment, they reproduced the effects within 6% in its traditional configuration, right? And then here's a topographical view of what that looks like. So you have your source emitter on the rotating device. You have your reflective mirrors. You got your beam splitter. You got your counter beams for everything to circle back and recombine here at this at R. And then it'll travel along here, hit this mirror P, and then it goes into your photographic recorder, which is on the device, right? So this spinning device, because the observer, right, where it's being recorded, because that position is on the device, it is a non-inertial frame, right? Because it's rotating.
Right.
So relativity says, blah, 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 it's all good. Okay, whatever. So these guys were like, okay, cool. Let's try some different configurations and see what we can come up with, right? So this is the second orientation of the device that they did. Now they did, what they did here is they had the source fixed to the wall on the lab. And then they just were projecting the light in on the rotating device. And it was, long enough to get an imprint on the photographic plate, right?
Okay.
And the fringe shift patterns that they measured with that also were in agreement with the Sagnac effect, which is to be expected, and that's also in alignment with special relativity's second postulate about the speed of light being independent of the source of what's emitting it, right? So very cool, still in alignment, still all good so far. And then they get into their third configuration, where they did a series of tests where they okay, so this is what they did here. So this is the bottom apparatus, right? This is like a side angle view. So they have 45-degree angled mirrors for the rotating section that go up to a stationary section that's independent of the rotating device underneath it.
Okay.
And then so that reflects back out to the lab wall, which is fixed, obviously, right? So they got the source emitter there. They got a stationary apparatus here, and they also have a stationary recorder here. And in addition to the stationary recorder here, they have a recorder on attached to the outside of it here, so that there's one attached to the rotating device, right? And it also takes a split reading too, from that. So they have a reading stationary and one's fixed to the non-inertial frame, right? So what they found was that they had to make some adjustments to the device. So there's the final configuration here, but same exact premise that I just laid out.
Okay.
Now what they measured is the exact same effect as the Sagnac effect, which is completely impossible if there's no ether, and or if relativity theory is true, the translation of motion should not affect the stationary observer at all, which is fixed to the lab frame. It's a complete absolute failure for relativity. And then so more on that, it gets into the calculative nature of like which reference frame do you use, how do you how do you really hammer home that this is bad for relativity, right? So what these guys did is they go through here and they're explaining how the reference frame is determined by where the observer, or where the location that's being recorded, right? So in relativity they say, oh, you can choose any reference frame arbitrarily here, but in this case for the Sagnac device, how they would try and explain it is they would say, hey, we'll be here at the middle of the device where we could say it's not rotating, and then we could project out our calculations, right, and it's all good. So so they say that center point is arbitrary, they do it for convenience, blah blah blah, right? Well, it's not true. So in that configuration where the reference frame isn't arbitrary, it's it's on the fixed wall, right? So what they did is they calculated the relativistic effect for the traditional for an observer that's on the traditional configuration, and it failed by what was it, by 100-fold or whatever. So the classical theory, the ether theory, predicts a fringe of 0.053.
Right.
Based on that configuration, and relativity came up with 0.005. Like it's a complete failure to explain that to explain that effect. If you have to if the reference frame isn't chosen arbitrarily, and you have to do it, where it's intended. And this guy Paul Lavue, who's like a relativity master, who co-opted the original Sagnac effect through general relativity using a special metric tensor that basically says a rotating device's energy is equivalent to what would produce a gravitational field, because energy is equivalent to gravity or gravitational effects in general relativity.
Right.
So the way that he was explaining is the angular rotation energy is equivalent to generating little pockets of time dilation and length contraction within the device to explain the effect. So that's the general relativistic effect. So this guy goes on to say, hey man, it's important to, in relativity and when you're dealing with rotating frames, the importance of choosing the proper frame when you're dealing with every, to get the proper relativistic calculation. And then he says, that the proper spot obviously should be calculated from the center of the device. And he makes like no mention of the situation where it's fixed to the wall. And he knew about all of this too, like it being fixed to the wall, gave no response and just kind of doubled down and dipped. So yeah, complete obliteration of
I can't wait for Tuesday. Well it's
dude, like yeah, so yeah, we'll hit me up after your show if you got time, and we could kind of talk about that.
Sounds good. We'll do that.
Thanks, all right, bro.
Thanks, Alan. Take it easy. Keep doing what
Peace.
you're doing, man. You're banging it out. Love your work.
Yeah, later.
Peace. All right, we got Void Destroyer. At least we have a clock that works now, so that's good. Gotta love a working clock. A Void Destroyer. You're up.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, good. Yourself?
Excellent. I don't see you. I just see grayness, but that's all right. You're probably very
yeah, I got blacked out. A little sticker on the webcam.
You're a black dude?
No, I have it blacked out. I have a sticker on the webcam.
I thought you said that you're a black dude. I'm like, my bad. I couldn't see you. It's like a dark screen. Smile so we can say hi to you. What's up? I'm going to start your clock. Go ahead.
Question for you. How do you sort of, when you're coming to terms with flat Earth and you're trying to understand it and you're trying to incorporate it into your worldview, like how do you kind of like move on with your life? It's like you come to the understanding that this is what's happening.
Yeah, it's a good question.
This is what the real reality is, and it's like how do you go in your day to day? It's sort of like a reckless thing to sort of let people know that this is the true reality.
Yeah, I think that I've gone through different steps, right?
Prepared for it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people not prepared, and you really have to be careful about who you tell, because if somebody believes in the moon landing and they believe in NASA and they do that for a living or something, then you're just going to frustrate that person, and then you're going to end up like breaking that relationship, whatever relationship you have with them, because they're going to double down. They're going to dig their feet in and say you're a moron. You're going to say you don't listen. You're just a sheep. And then you have kind of strained that relationship. So I think it is good to wait until you can tell somebody is starting to wake up, and then you can kind of introduce it. But as far as how my life goes on, well, it has to. I have, goals, things I want to end up doing, but at the same time, I also see the evil everywhere. So it's kind of, for me, just you have to, how do you explain it? If you held up a glass of water for 30 seconds, you're fine, right? If you held up a glass of water for a minute, you're fine. If you hold up a glass of water for 10 minutes, you're going to start to feel that. And if you held it up for 6 hours, you probably can't do that. You probably, your arm would go numb and you'd have to put down the glass of water. The point of that is conspiracies kind of work the same. Is if you deal with them a little bit here and there, you're okay. And if you start taking on too much, you will have to put them down. You just have to. It's just the equivalent of holding the glass of water for 6 hours. It is too much to bear all the time. So I'm very good at, working when I need to work, doing my work stuff, and then removing myself from it, spending time with my son, spending time with my wife, spending a whole day where we just, chill and do nothing. Those kind of things are important to me, because otherwise you can just get caught up into it and you can let everything else go. Because it feels like it's such a mission. It feels like it's such an overtaking and undertaking that we're doing. But I just have to remember there's so many people out there who have individual talents. Oh, I wanted to bring that book in here. I'll do it next time. Anyway, there's a girl who's like writing poem books. She sent me her third copy or her third edition. And it's like, I love that, because I love seeing everybody doing what this girl obviously writes great poetry. So what did she do? She wrote 3 Flat Earth poem books. So I just think that you do have to incorporate. Look at Zach. Zach just built a Flat Earth map on whatever video game he plays. I forgot the name of it. So I think that people need to, what are your strengths? How can you put those strengths towards this mission or this?
Because it's like
awakening.
It's like once you kind of realize that this is what the world is, it really removes you from the culture of like everything, like the mainstream culture. Like we came to terms with this, our family, like just a couple months ago, and it's just like, how do you see the world now? Like TV shows.
Oh, see, I don't do any of that.
Enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, I can't watch TV.
And it's like, how do you like get on with your day to day? It's you've been removed from the culture now, and it's now everything is. It's like you have new eyes, but then you also feel like you're an alien and almost like an outcast.
Yeah, I guess that one thing that I've done this year, we did it, and last year, is because I've always been a big baseball fan. That was my whole life was baseball. And then around 2013, I guess, or whatever it was, that I got away from it, got into the truth stuff, and just really then left that behind. And I saw it as a distraction. I saw it as exactly what it is. In fact, now I think it's like a harnessing of our God power in the wrong direction, putting all of our mind and energy into games that mean nothing, and then not having that actually affect life at all. But this year and last year, I bought at the beginning of the season like a 6-pack of tickets where we got to go to 6 games. We're supposed to go this weekend, and then I got sick. But that has really helped me, because it's like, I'm not watching TV. I'm not like brainwashing myself. I'm not, hurting my mindset, but I am able to remove myself I don't know if you've ever been to Oracle Park in San Francisco. It's a beautiful ballpark. It's everything about it is beautiful. You don't even really have to watch the game. It's just a great venue and good people. So I don't know, that has helped me this year. Is, granted we only went to 5 games, but to get away for the day and go with my wife and son and be able to just relax and not worry about things. I don't know. That's huge. I think you can do too much. You can do too much. You can make this too much a part of you. And you're not going to solve it by yourself. You're not going to change the world by yourself. It's going to take everybody else. So don't put too much pressure on yourself, I guess would be my only advice. Yeah. Because I don't know what kind of answer you're looking for as far as, I mean, you have to keep being a father, a husband, right? A friend, as much as possible. Yeah. If you get away from those things, then you've really, and I've come real close to that. I mean, I've lost a lot of friends, even the guys that were at my wedding party. Same thing with my wife. You know, so it's kind of like one of those things where if you do go too far, I'm so lucky that I have my wife. If I was single, you're not single, right?
No, I got a family. And
Yeah.
kids and stuff.
I mean, that's hugely important because I've seen people that are single kind of lose it. Because it's too much.
I can totally see that.
Yeah. And I could see it myself.
You just wake up and you're just...
Well, if I was by myself and nobody was able to rein me in, you know, and sometimes I kind of get out of left field and I start going crazy, and it takes my wife saying like, all right, calm down, relax, think about what you're saying, you know, and it kind of takes her bringing me off the edge. If I didn't have that, I'm not sure where I'd be right now. I'd probably be going crazy.
It's like you have to be a stoic, and then you have to embrace some of this flat earth reality in conjunction.
Yeah, absolutely.
In order to really get a grip on your life.
And be ready for people when they ask you questions. But as far as like just for me, I'm not into giving the information to people who don't want it. Right? It's just not. There's no use.
Yes.
They're going to fight you, and then what you do is you create situations where these people then become de facto globe defenders simply because you've called them a name or you've said they're dumb or that they're indoctrinated. So they dig their feet in, and then they say, "Great, now I'm definitely a globe believer, and you're definitely a moron for being a flat earther." And now you're at an impasse where neither one is going to give in. That's human nature. So sadly, I think the elite knew all these things. I think that they've done it all by design. They knew if we confuse them enough, then they'll not believe anything, which is kind of a place that a lot of people are right now, where anything that comes on the news, like this whole thing with this telephone alert thing. I got so many Telegram messages that day. Jaron, are you worried about the alert? And I'm like, no. I'm like, no, it's literally the least of my worries. And they're like, are you going to turn off your phone during? I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not going to worry like that to where, you know, the emergency broadcast system says they're going to do a test and then I lose my mind because I think they're going to harm me. No, I mean, those are the kind of things that I'm happy that now I no longer fall for these end of the world predictions, which I did in 2017. I thought, oh, look at the revelation lines up with the sky, and they tell me it only happens once every 7,000 years, but then you go look into it and it actually happens like once every 40 years or 30 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like those kind of things where you can fall down those rabbit holes. You can start to believe in the dates and believe in it's going to be 3/22 and it's going to be this and they're going to do this on this day. Or you can just not be afraid, which is the best feeling in the world. And where I stand, I'm just not afraid. If they want to take me out, take me out. What are you going to do?
Oh, that's excellent. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for calling. All right. Peace. All right. That was Void Destroyer. Up next, we've got... Oh, does this work? Oh, the Godfather himself is in the house. Tony, Corey, Bolus. Tony!
How's it going?
Oh, fantastic. That's loud. Come on. Thank you.
Little bit.
What's up?
Hey, so a couple things mentioned. The first guy said something about Andrew Kaufman.
Yes.
So he did like I don't know, like an episode with some guy. I don't even know who. Some guy that was talking about music and stuff and what music is good nowadays, since a bunch is bad and bad intentions behind it, like the Sam Smith guy and everything.
Right.
A bunch is horrible. So in that episode, they were kind of saying like pretty much the whole gang, come on, it's all the stuff they're promoting is bad. But Van Morrison, have you happened to heard any of the Van Morrison stuff after COVID started?
No. Why?
It's super, like, you know, the album's titled like Wake Up, you know, or
I haven't even heard anything from it.
It's really good stuff, and yeah, they're not promoting it.
Okay. Makes sense.
So I was just talking to someone that I met up in one of our flat groups, and I brought up the Van Morrison, and then instantly I got the response like, oh, he's too popular, you know. But no one's heard of these albums until I brought it up on Karen B's show. But yeah, check out Van Morrison.
Okay. And he's got a new... How old is that record or album?
So he now has put out, like, the latest one is really nothing that, like, amazes me. But then the two before that, so 2021, 2022.
Okay.
Put out two different albums. They're amazing. They're perfect.
All right. Great.
And then, do you know what day you're going to Vegas? Are you going to be there early?
I believe we're getting there on Thursday.
Nice.
Yes, Thursday, I believe it is. Thursday, so yeah, Saturday, Sunday, yes, Thursday, and then leaving Monday.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, cool.
And then they're going to do a karaoke thing on Friday, and then I'm going to do a Van Morrison song. So,
all right.
Even if you don't check out Van Morrison, you'll hear.
Where are you hearing these things? Where are you finding out these details? I don't know these details.
I stay updated on all Karen B stuff.
Okay.
Since you guys are all doing shows, you don't have time to watch everyone else's show. I do. I'm Tony Coriolis. That's what I do.
Right. It's actually Tony Almanac Coriolis, if you didn't know that.
Exactly. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Making sure you didn't forget the middle name.
Of course not.
Yes.
Of course. I brought it up when I called into Strange World last week.
If you, can you guess my middle name?
I did want to show you something.
I'll give you one guess of my middle name. Go ahead.
Yours?
Yeah.
Do I get a letter?
I think it makes it easy, but M.
Oh, Mark?
No. What's the only other M?
Michael?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you win.
Okay.
You don't win a hat or anything, though. I'm sorry.
I got a little brother Michael. And hey, talking to the hat, I don't need one.
You got one. You're set. You don't need to do the I don't know what I want to call it yet. The 50-50 gamble. I don't know, something like that.
Oh yeah, and you know what? I would have taken that with stride. Either way, the coin flipped. I would have been.
That's
down
how I feel. Except for I went 0 for 5 in my last show, which is really that should not happen in coin tossing.
Just all free hats.
Yeah, I just all me. I keep having to buy them.
Nice.
Nobody ever had to buy one.
You're getting out all the bad luck before Vegas.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
All good. And then hey, one last thing. I don't know how much longer I got. I did get one hat. I included when I ordered the hat. I said, "Hey, dude, I got a big head. Not a lot fits." As you see, it fits just fine. It fits perfect.
Yeah, the flex hits hat they're pretty good.
Yeah, so I got a hat here in Scottsdale, and it literally says it's a store called Baseballism.
I know. There's one next to AT&T Park, right across the street.
So I have this hat. It doesn't fit me. If you want it, I'm going to bring it to Vegas for you. But then
bring it. I'll take it.
You don't. Okay, gotcha. I just figure you don't want everyone throwing gifts at you.
No, I do. You don't know me at all.
Tony Coriolis has one for you. So
all awesome. Right. Just don't bring me an almanac. I don't really want one of those.
Yeah, all good. I already let someone borrow it.
All right. Well, thank you, friend. Appreciate the call as always. You're probably the number one caller, and I went back and thought about it, and I do remember you calling on the first night.
Nice.
That's when you talked about video games and how there was things hidden in video games or something.
Well, yeah, that's in the later Tony. At some point I'll chronicle this whole Tony Coriolis.
Oh, I can't wait! It's going to be just the best documentary ever. All right, thanks, buddy.
All right, got you, bro.
Peace.
Thanks.
We've got one of my favorite new kids on the block, Pitch Lumen, in the house. Pitch. Steve Riley.
Yo,
what's up?
Hey, am I on screen?
You are.
Okay. My bad. I'm at work. I'm just about off. But
no problem.
I wanted to ask, could you do me a favor while I'm only on my phone?
Sure.
Could you go to our Telegram and pull up? I sent you a picture earlier today.
Okay. A picture.
And then if you could just pull that up on screen.
This picture of the ball looks like an AT&T logo.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Save as desktop, and just put it up on the screen for people.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. I've got it here.
All right. So I remember we were talking a few months ago about like the moon landing and trying to land on the moon and how it might be difficult with conservation of momentum.
Okay.
So basically, like if you look on the left side on the Earth, there's like that rocket that is supposed to be taking off. So the story is with rockets is when they take off, countries want to launch from the furthest south and the furthest east that they have, the land that they have, so that they can be closest to the equator to get the most speed and be going in the direction with the spin of the Earth.
Right.
And then you have the particles of the air that are also supposed to be velcroed with the Earth to make it appear like we're not moving for relativity, but then apparently there's Coriolis too. You get the super rotation, which is even faster rotation on the edge of the atmosphere, which is going faster than the rotating Earth. And so these things are supposed to influence the speed of the rocket. And so I know there's not a translation of motion really in like gas molecules, like doing this is not going to really affect the stuff up here. As opposed to like if I take a solid and push it, it all goes.
Right.
So but the atmosphere is claimed to be a fluid that helps carry and adjust the speed of an outgoing or incoming craft. And so then if you go out into interstellar or cislunar space, like in between the Earth and the Moon, you get there's no atmosphere. And the thing is with the Moon, there's no atmosphere either.
Right.
And the Earth at Florida is moving, we'll say, I think it was about 900 miles an hour.
That's about right.
And the Moon is spinning or rotating at 10 miles an hour. And so one of the what I was saying to you was about like the conservation of momentum. So if you are conserving 900 miles an hour, the plane can turn its thrusters on. It can move left, right, up, down, no direction in space, but it's always going to hold on to that 900 miles an hour. That's the whole point of them taking off from south and east as they can get, is because that is conserved. So my thought was, if you land on the Moon, there's no atmosphere, there's nothing to control your speed. You're landing basically raw on the Moon, and you're going to go from 900 miles per hour conserved to 10.3 miles an hour conserved, because that is what is rotating, and that would cause, severe whiplash, damage to the legs of the LEM and everything.
Good call. Yeah, I mean,
thinking of.
Go ahead.
What's that?
No, I think it's a great thought, because I've always thought about that, but then I usually explained it away. But now that you mention it that way, with the 900 conserved speed and the 10 miles per hour, you're right, because there is no atmosphere. That I can understand where they say a plane goes through atmosphere, and so it's always translating that new speed for the new location it's at. But you're right, there would be none of that in cislunar space.
Yes, yeah. So there's no, and I know they say like the Earth's atmosphere goes out past the Moon at 1 particle per square meter, but I think that there might be something to landing on certain bodies depending on their speed. One of the things, and why I wanted to bring this up was to throw it out there for people to, if anyone thinks to think more on this is my thought was that I just looked it up, how fast were the astronauts traveling on the way to the Moon. It's 33, which is dumb. I renounce that number,
right?
Or whatever. It's just a number, but God's first. But all of them are all the numbers. But so they were traveling at 3,333 miles an hour, and the Moon is traveling 2,900 or something like that. Plus, so my thought was, if the craft can go up to 3,300 miles an hour, it can cover anything between 900 and 3,300 or whatever. So my thinking in this right now is that if the Moon is traveling 28,080 or 28,090 plus the 10 is 2,900 miles an hour, I think that the craft could catch up to the Moon and then adjust its speed from there and land as though it's kind of going along the surface, traveling 2,900 miles an hour. But I think that there would be problems with landing on certain bodies if they're going slower than 900. But then I was also thinking on the way to work today about landing on the Moon, is if the Moon is actually going slower, right? Isn't a lunar day, it moves, hold on, now I'm trying to think. Does the Moon move a little bit east every day, further east compared to the sun and its time a day earlier?
Technically, yes. Yeah, it falls back.
Okay, so then if anything, it's moving slower than the Earth. Anyway, I wanted to put that out there just to throw out for thinking about like orbital mechanics, conservation of momentum,
pretend mechanics.
What rockets are. Yeah. For it's all theoretical because they don't. I mean, and then one other thing I'll say, and then I'll let you go here. But I talked to my professor. I'm in an astrophysics class or an astronomy class right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked with my professor. One thing I'm curious is why rockets don't go straight up. Because he said all you have to do to escape the Earth, the pull of the Earth's gravity, is you have to create a force that would get you out of the gravity well. You don't necessarily have to be going at any certain speed, as long as the force you're pushing out is able to get you out of the Earth's gravity well. So why rockets would not go straight up and just take that short distance, 60 miles into space, as opposed to slinging around the Earth and then gradually
But what would they do when
getting
they got
a little
up?
further and further away?
But what would they do when
What's that?
what would they do when they go up? Because all crafts in space need to be in orbit. So by going straight up, to me that seems like you would not be in orbit. You would just be going straight up. So
you'd be going out into space, and so that would be something for going to the moon or to another body. Like you should just be able to go up. But they do arc always, and I was supposed to go see a rocket launch. But yeah, they do arc, and they don't have to. They could go straight up, and then
sure.
Yeah. So but that's just some. I'm still working with my professor. He said he can't help me. He doesn't know where to point me because I was asking about how can you explain the geometry of the appearance of water looking planar, even though it's supposed to be physically curved. Oh, okay. So I'm working on some stuff, and I'll get back to you with more. But okay. Last thing, you know how people say like, hey, the stars are round and the planets are round. Why wouldn't the Earth be?
Of course.
And then it's like, well, what's on the ground is not what's up above. You know, the sun is putting out light. That doesn't mean that the Earth is. Another, I think, a response to that could be that the globe actually refutes that all the things in the sky are the same in their own model, because they claim that the sun is emitting light and that the moon is reflecting light. So they already are lacking or they already have differences as above. So how can you, if there's differences up there, how could you say that up there is the same as down here?
Right.
So just, I don't know, hopefully some wording for anything, but okay, cool. Jaron, keep it up. You're awesome. Everybody the Earth is special. We're all special. You're all special. God loves us all. Peace.
Thank you, sir. That was Pitch the Lumen. Good guy. Let's go on to Lisa. Awake, but not. I don't know what the next line is. What does it say? Lisa, tell me.
Awake, but not woke.
Ah, I love it. All right, that's good. Nice hat, by the way. Very nice purchase you've made there.
Thank you.
What can we do for you this evening?
So, have you ever heard of Missing 411?
Say again. What is it?
Have you ever heard of Missing 411?
Missing 411. No. Is it a Michael Moore film? No.
No.
Okay.
No, it's David Pilatus. He's from Coast to Coast, is where he started at. He has dozens of books.
About all the people missing from the state parks?
Yes.
Okay. State
parks and just from their homes and stuff like that. Like people disappear.
Right.
And they're never, ever found. And,
yeah, I've heard there's quite a few of those. I did hear them on Coast to Coast a few times.
Yeah, and my theory is, what if these people are disappearing because they need slaves for resources on the other side of Antarctica?
It's quite possible, although I guess you always have these perfect visions in your mind. My hope would be that the other side of Antarctica has no slaves. It has no leaders like this, but I guess that would be wishful thinking, because all people in power end up control hungry or power hungry, right?
Well, that's what I figure the treaty is about. So they can start their control on the other side.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I think that, did you ever read Iron Republic?
No.
So there's a book, Iron Republic. You can find it in PDF pretty easily. Just search Iron Republic PDF, Florida Magazine. I can't remember the year, 1903. But there's a story about a guy who goes down south and ends up going through the fissure and the crack and ends up on the other side of Antarctica, then finds a place called Iron Republic. And it's just a story that those guys left because to get away from the tyranny and get away from the control mechanisms here. And so they are over there flourishing. They've got higher technology. They're doing better. They have a certain system that works well. And then they don't come back here because they don't see any benefit to it. Since this area is now stepping behind them, it's also using people as slaves. It's also a tyrannical system where people in power only care about themselves. And so the guys on the other side at Iron Republic don't even interject or come over here at all. So I see what you're saying about them. Maybe part of the treaty, is maybe they're involved in it and somehow, and like, you're not allowed to come over here at all. I'm not really sure. Again, it's all speculation until we go down there, until we nut up and let's go take a trip.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how the rockets go up and they come back down.
Right.
And I just don't see them wasting them, throwing them into the ocean. So
did it make more sense if they landed somewhere, you mean?
Yeah, and then from there took a shuttle to the other side. I mean, because you know that they've got to be harvesting some of the resources from over there.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, my hope again would be that whoever's on the other side is like too powerful to like they're further along technologically, and maybe that's why this side doesn't mess with them. I'm not really sure. Again, it's all speculation.
Right to think that it's a never-ending realm. That you have different civilizations out there that are more advanced than us, and then ones that are not as advanced as us, and everything in between.
Well, I tend to think the people that groups have left, the Mayans, and others, have somehow gone there. So I do think that there is a place where technology is more further advanced. And it also sounds like some of that technology was brought back and put here or something. Because just the way technology's gone does not seem legit to me. In fact, I still don't even understand fully information theory in that how did it ever come about? I can't grasp how somebody figured out the fact that you could take anything that we say or do or any picture or any video, break it down into what they called bits, then send them through fiber optic cables where the other side will then reassemble those bits in the exact perfect order using error correcting codes, et cetera, et cetera. That to me sounds otherworldly. It sounds like somebody brought that technology and we just kind of adopted it, started using it. It doesn't sound like something any human would have ever come up with. I can't imagine them sitting around being like, I think we can get our information and send it across the world simply by breaking it down into bits. They'd be like, what? Breaking what down into bits? Everything. I mean, it's just, to me, it's a little bit of a stretch, but that's what Claude Shannon did. That's what Vannevar Bush did. That was, Claude Shannon is the head of information theory because he supposedly figured that out. And everything in our world, every single thing that we deal with is a direct result of what Claude Shannon did. And for some reason, they don't even mention his name. Most people don't even know him. So, but it's a good idea. I do think that there is, for me personally, it makes a lot more sense. Because if they just were trapping us here and there's nothing else, then it doesn't really matter if it's a flat earth or a globe. What difference does it make, right? They just trap you here. But it does make a difference if there is other places to go. Then they would say, look, at every time we get these slaves together or whatever, they leave. So if we make it so that they can't go anywhere, then they can't leave. And by doing that, they just said, well, if we make it a sphere and say, hey, every time you go around, you come back to where you started, nobody will ever go north or south because we'll say it's too cold and it's too dangerous and you won't have an airport there to land. So nobody's going to put their life on the line to go south. So it just means that everybody on Earth goes in a circle. And if you go in a circle, then you're going to come back to where you started from and everything's been discovered and everything's been explored. And it's a great way to hide. And again, look at it. We've been doing this for 9 years. I don't think one flat earther has gone to Antarctica. So we can all pretend like we're not scared. We have no fear. We're fearless, but none of us have gone. So
yeah, I enjoy what you said the other day about how you say that we can't go to Antarctica, but then you get all your information from the same place.
Absolutely, yeah. That's why for me, it's like I can't even make that argument anymore for people because I don't know. I don't want to be that guy saying, well, like, why don't you go to Antarctica? It's like, they'll stop me. Yes, I know that they've told you you'll stop you, Jaron, but have you ever actually seen that happen? And there's a girl I'm talking to that says she thinks that we are allowed to go, that they can threaten you by saying, don't go, you got to do this, you got to do that. But we really have the full ability to get in a boat and go. And nobody would actually stop us if we did, according to her.
First we go and then once we get there, figure out what we need.
Right. If we get to the wall or get to the shore, then we make a decision to be like, all right, let's come back now that we know we can get this far. Here's what we need, provisions and things, and how much money we'll need to. Who knows? But I do think there's a lot of probably explorers or adventure seekers out there that could probably put together a little expedition and go.
Yeah, that have the money.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, the money's just going to be the boat for the most part, and then whatever food is needed. But as far as like the EPA survey, that would be like $1 million. That's what I think we're saying. Maybe you don't need to actually do that. Who knows?
So you've also said that if everybody would just pick the favorite flat earther and donate $1 a month,
yeah,
then that would be the money that you could use to go.
Yeah, but I mean, I get it. It's a tough time right now. Money is not good. The dollar's not good. Groceries are, they say it's 8% inflation, but groceries are up 50%. So it's just a joke. So I get it. Right now it's a tough time for everybody, and I'm not sure it's going to get a lot easier.
Yeah, I got my silver.
Good, I got some too.
Yeah.
Somebody told me the other day it's going to be $1,000 an ounce in silver. I'm like, come on, don't blow smoke up people's ass like that.
That'd be nice.
Would be nice, but I don't know about that. All right, well, thank you. I do appreciate the call. I'm going to let you go. We got a lot of people waiting behind you.
It was great talking to you, Jaron.
You too. Call back again, would you?
Yeah, thanks for everything you do.
Thanks. Appreciate it. All right, we've got up next Brenda Debates. Brenda, I've got a theme song for you. Are you happy?
Huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Is this the one you wanted?
Can't hear anything.
Oh, you
Can't
don't hear it?
anything.
Oh. She looks like a lady, but anyway. Thought you might want
Whatever.
that as your theme song.
Yeah.
All right, I'm starting your clock.
Oh, okay. So I don't know why I was banned from the Globebusters Telegram. Why was I banned?
Because somebody there didn't like what you said.
Uh-huh. But the reason it was created was to talk to Globers.
I'd have never heard anybody say that. What?
That was what you were complaining. I was listening to the Globebusters. This was Sunday.
Okay.
And you were complaining about how Globers don't talk to you, don't to Flat Earth. That you want more interactions.
Oh.
Right? And that was what prompted me. That's what prompted me to join it in the first place. So,
Okay.
oh, they want to talk to Globers, and then okay, so here's this Globebusters Telegram group. Okay, so I'll join it.
Well, I don't remember
Right?
us
And so
connecting
then I
those
get
two things.
banned.
Yeah, well,
it tells me you don't really mean what you say.
did you not just hear? Did you not read the message I wrote you the other day?
Yeah, but
But did that make sense?
No, it doesn't.
Holy smokes! Weird.
Because I understand that I can make my own content, but if you sit there and complain that you're not getting interactions with
Right, and then if a
different
Glober shows up and says "F you, Jaron," and I hope your kid dies, do you understand that that is not an interaction with a Glober that I want, and so therefore that person would get banned?
I didn't say it. I didn't say anything.
Yes, you did. You said Jaron is a liar and something else. Austin said it on the show. He said exactly the reason he banned you. I don't remember exactly what you said, but he said, "Oh, Brenda's saying you're just a liar. All you have is personal incredulity or whatever."
Yeah, that's the
Great.
majority of your criticism is personal incredulity. As far as being a liar, you mean about the documentary?
I don't know.
I did call you a liar on that, and I changed it after we went with MC Toon and everything. And
What do you mean you changed it? How do you change something you called somebody?
I changed my opinion.
Oh, okay.
I can do that. I have.
Yes, you're allowed to do that.
You know, I have that ability to change my beliefs.
You do, but that has nothing to do with what you're talking about. The thing is, here's
It
what you have
does.
to understand. No, here's the thing you have to understand.
Because I don't think you're lying about the what happened in the documentary.
Okay, but I'm saying this has nothing to do with why you got banned from a chat. Because usually all I see from you, and I see this in my TikTok, right? Just the other day you found my TikTok, which I noticed because I see that every one of my TikToks has you commenting on it, saying something negative about me. So do you understand that that's not the interaction that I want? Are you not smart enough to realize that?
Yeah, you want to have only positive interactions. You don't want people to criticize you.
It's not a fair criticism. So sorry.
It's not a fair criticism.
No.
What?
No, you just.
I don't even remember what I said on your TikTok. I simply subbed. I don't remember responding to anything.
You commented like on 7 different videos or something.
I don't recall.
Okay, well, there were comments like, all he has is personal incredulity. What's wrong?
Yes.
He's anti-gay. He's a bigot. All these things.
Yes, you are.
Okay,
yes.
well, why would I want that kind of interaction? What is wrong with you?
It's the truth, though. All you do have is incredulity.
It's your truth.
No, all you have an entire video where you're just incredulous about what Simon Dan says. He says, this such and such example is perfectly understandable. And you have nothing. Most of your content is just nothing. It's just
and
you going,
guess what? And you don't have to watch.
I don't believe it.
You don't have to watch.
But that's the honest criticism. That's not an argument. That's not you providing evidence for your claims.
So what about when we go and do
I
this?
don't believe it. like you're saying with this motions, you've been saying with motions here.
Yeah, I don't believe
recently.
it.
Yeah,
I don't believe that there is any motion.
That's incredulity.
Well, sorry, you
need
believe
an
in people's.
argument.
No, an argument is not. What's their argument? What's their side? Just because math says so? We can't even measure.
We have well-developed physics that explains orbital mechanics.
Doesn't matter. Well-defined.
You don't
fields.
believe it. You don't. Yes, that's what science is.
No,
if you
it's
don't
not.
believe in science, you can reject science.
Okay, then I reject it. So there.
Yeah.
So,
It's pseudo. That's right.
So I'm allowed
Flat
to do that,
Earth
right?
Is pseudoscience. You know,
flat
another
Earth is
thing about
pseudoscience.
science is
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
No, it
stars
isn't.
being trillions of miles away. That's not pseudoscience because they figured that
That's
out.
just.
Mhm.
That's just incredulity. Do you have
say
an
that.
argument?
Yeah, my argument is nobody's fucking measured it. Do you understand that?
Yes, we have.
How did you measure it?
With redshift.
And I've already told you why redshift isn't what you think it is.
And I looked up that guy, and he's a quack.
Of course he is. What do you think? Science going to say they're fucking wrong? Are you that fucking dumb? It's so
That's not how anything.
strange.
That's not how science works.
What do you mean? What's
right?
not how science works?
The Roland, the person that you referred to, is a crackpot.
Of course he is, because
Right.
he's saying that redshift isn't what?
He's not a crackpot because he disagrees with science. He's a crackpot because he puts forward bad arguments. Bad
Of course
science.
you think that. Of course you think that. But bad science.
No, it's not. It's not my thinking.
Okay, let me
It's
try this
objective.
again with you. You couldn't get this
Here's
the other day.
here's
Hold on, let me try this
listen
again
to
because
this.
you couldn't get this the
Listen
other
to
day.
this.
Hold on a second. You kept saying the other day, but Jaron, light doesn't need a medium to travel. That's not what I'm saying.
Correct.
I am saying that the reason we have Doppler effects and redshift is because when sound is coming to us, it gets bunched up in the air. And then when it goes away from
That's
us,
correct.
it gets expanded in the air. Right. So
Right.
you are applying the same thing to light coming from stars.
Yeah.
There's no
Because
air. There's no air for it to bunch
That's
up.
right.
Right.
That's
So there
right.
is no
There's no
redshift.
air.
There's no redshift.
That doesn't follow.
It does
Light
follow.
Doesn't need to travel through air. It's still.
I didn't
is
say
a
it needs
wave.
to. I didn't say it needs to travel through air, but
It's
that's what
still a
causes.
wave, though.
You're so fucking stupid. What causes Doppler and redshift is the bunching up of those waves in the air.
Yeah.
Okay, so
No.
how are you applying that to starlight that doesn't have air? Go ahead, tell me how you're applying that.
God.
What?
So
explain to me.
Light is not sound, right? But it is a wave, and it behaves like all waves, in which a receding source of light will be redshifted.
Why?
Because the wavefronts
Yeah.
arrive at the observer, they get stretched out because
How are they stretched out? How come? How come they stretch out?
Because it's receding.
No, the reason that things stretch
Yes.
out is because in the air, when a ambulance is going away
it
from
is-
you. Whoa, you're so fucking stupid.
The air is just one medium.
Correct.
The
Causing.
same. You
that's
get
how they get-
Doppler in the water too.
Okay.
Are
There's
you
a-
going to say that you can't have Doppler shift in the water because it isn't air?
Nope. I'm going to say that there's a medium that bunches up, which is what
Yeah.
causes redshift. What is causing the stars
Light-
to redshift?
Light doesn't need a medium.
So
but
how
it's
does it bunch
still
up?
A wave.
So how does it bunch
Because
up?
it's a wave and it behaves like a wave.
No, things in waves don't just behave like waves. They behave
Yes,
like
they do. That's what
Oh,
it
boy.
means to be a wave.
No, but you could be a wave in air or a wave in water or a wave in space, and they're all different. They're all different. Each
But
one.
they're all waves. They have frequency
Sure.
and amplitude.
Sure, but they don't
They
get
have a
bunched up
certain
and they don't
ener-
get stretched out. Not in
But
starlight.
they do. It's observed. It's something that we see.
You don't see anything. You've never seen anything
Yes,
in
we
your life.
do.
You've never seen a thing. What have you seen? Stars.
What do you mean?
You've never
What do you
seen
mean?
redshift?
I've never seen it.
Have you ever seen a redshifting star?
That's called the genetic fallacy.
No, it's called you just have
It's the
appeal
genetic
to
fallacy
authority. Your
because-
appeal to
yes, it
authority.
is.
Yeah, your appeal to authority.
No,
is
it's not.
constant.
I'm appealing to the body of science, which is expert.
That's appeal to
expert
authority,
opinion.
dipshit.
No, it is not.
Oh,
It is
now
not an
appealing to
appeal
science
authority.
isn't. You got to get the hell out of here.
That's
you are
correct.
pathetic. What a joke you are. All right, let's go to geocentric. I don't know why I let that person on the show, to be honest with you. Just to get my blood
Hello?
pressure high. What's up?
I can't hear you, Jaron.
Why
Can
not?
you hear me?
Mute mic.
Well,
Well, I'm on the show. Yeah, I see you.
let me see if it's my audio.
I hear you.
Speaker. I can hear my speaker. Can you hear me?
I hear you, yes. Let me go to the other person. Figure out. Go
Oh
to
wow,
your
this
speaker.
sucks.
Yeah, go to your other person. RG the artist. Wait, I thought you were you already on?
No. What's up, buddy? I
Okay.
came on earlier.
Oh, what's up?
Man, just eating another Twix, bro. Just kicking it.
That's too many. Too many Twix for you.
Right. I kind of had the munchies, but yeah, man. Sorry you had to go through that, man. It's kind of
Oh, it's
hard to
just the
deal with.
same thing every time. It's like,
Yeah.
and it's so stupid because I've already talked to her about these things, and it's already made sense. And I had to yell and scream the other day. It's like,
Well,
Jesus.
I think light in a way is so instantaneous that it goes. I don't think it takes any time. I think kind of. I may be off base here. Tell me about if I'm wrong, but kind of in quantum physics, and it talks about entanglement, and when something happens way over there, it can be in the back of my retina like instantly, like there's no traveling, but because the medium that we live in, it actually penetrates us as well as it is us, but in a different frequency as the background medium. Something like that.
Certainly photons aren't traveling, which is what they believe. I mean, it's crazy to me that somebody can be so caught up in science and not even see that that's an appeal to authority when they just believe everything that science, and they're like, that's not an appeal to authority. That's an appeal to science. Okay, then I'm going to start allowing Christians to tell me it's an appeal to Christianity, and that be allowed. Oh, it's an appeal to Christianity. Well, then I didn't know. That's not an authority. That's just, it's an appeal to Christianity. Therefore, it's true. No, of course that's never allowed. But this person thinks that because she has a worship, or he has a worship desire for men, and to basically place all your beliefs in people in the past, then more power to him. Ain't gonna catch me doing that.
I get that, and I think that girl or boy, whatever, damn it, I don't know what to say. They, him, fuck.
It's very difficult.
But anyway, okay, so I think he doesn't take enough time to really slow down and listen.
Never. No, you're so right. You're so right. Because these things go over many times, and then you'll never get an apology. You'll never get a concession. I mean, this person showed up on my show saying that satellites started 1,000 miles away from the Earth. I'm like, what? No, they don't. Satellites can be 200 miles. Nope, it's 1,000 miles, and you don't know what you're talking about. And then she gets proven. Does she ever come back and be like, hey, sorry about that. You were right. No, it's just you're a liar, and you're a grifter, and you don't believe in free speech. It's just every time it's the same thing. It's like, what a waste of life.
I'll tell you what. Let's get off that subject.
Please.
And I just want to ask you a question. I kind of proposed this to Austin before and to Melodome about distances and with these P900s and P1000s, right?
Okay.
So I was looking at this test that they do. It's a company test. Like Nikon goes out to different nature landscapes, like the salt flats or like a wooded area.
Okay.
Et cetera, et cetera. So what they'll do is a zoom test, and they will go. I think it's like they mark it at like 10 miles at one, and then they'll go out another 10 miles. All the way up to the extent of the zoom, which is like, I think when P900 first came out, it was like 60 miles, or was it 80? Somewhere in there, right?
Miles?
Miles, yeah. Where I mean, or you can measure it in times what your eye sees.
Yeah, I think it's like about 80 times X or something, or whatever.
Yeah, 80 times that. Right. Which, your eye, like you were saying earlier, can see up to like 3 miles in a flat surface, the ocean or whatever, right? Before something disappears,
supposedly,
or disintegrates into the background. So what they did is do this with the stars. Instead of landscape zooms, they would zoom into stars, right? So you go onto Google and you type in Nikon P900 real stars,
right? And
you can. By the way, that's just like flat Earth. They put back, like, it's hard to get the good stars, like they'll put so many videos in front of it. Anyhow,
okay, gotcha.
So you start the P900 at 80 times what the eye can see, which is somewhere around 120 miles, right? Or let's say, give or take, let's say 100 miles max. And you point it at a star, and you have to be really still or have a good tripod, and you zoom in all the way, and you can get that star to fill the screen.
Okay.
Same thing when they do a terrestrial zoom test. Salt flats, let's say.
So you're saying you think that makes it closer, or it means it's closer?
Yes. No. Well, I think the stars that prove what we're all kind of speculating in the flat Earth community is they're not that far. If you can fill the screen, say with on the salt flats max zoom, and you have little red flag, right? That flag will fill the screen, and it's maxed out. And you point it upwards and do the same thing. All of a sudden, it starts to make sense that these things aren't that far if they're filling the screen. And plus, if it's way as far as they say it is, the angular size would never change. If it's 1 trillion miles away, you would never get it to fill the screen.
I agree with that. Yeah.
So you see where I'm going with that?
Yeah, I think it's easily provable that there's no possible chance that the stars are nearly as far as they say. It just isn't. Right. It's just you really have to be an idiot to think that you can see 3 miles to the horizon, but if you just look up a little bit, you see 37 trillion miles.
Right. Yeah, and they're all pretty much the same size to your eye. With it being
pretty close, yeah.
You're right. They look like little twinkling little diamonds way up. But if you can zoom in to something, let's just say go with their side of things. You're telling me at 1 trillion miles you can get a star to fill a screen that only maxes out at around 100 to 120 miles?
No, I mean,
no way.
The truth is, though, as far as filling the screen, supposedly that's out of focus, because I do know I do know that nobody's ever seen a star as anything more than 1 pixel on any telescope. So, like, nobody's ever seen a sphere star, right?
No. They just see a circle or a warped look because there's some kind of waviness.
Or you could probably pinpoint. You could probably get your telescope to get it down to just where it's like that pinpoint of light would be probably the best you could do. But it's not. It's not like you can, see us. This is why when they say they see planets, it's just a joke. It's a joke. They see a little blip, and they call it a planet. And then they make up what it's made of, and it's got this gas in there, and it's got this, and it's made of methane, and it's all made up.
Well, look, hey, the cymatic studies is killing it as well, man.
Yeah, that's a good one.
From a top-down view, oh my God, that's just it impresses me so much.
There's so much that goes on with that because really, I'm learning, and I'm talking with this girl, and my wife is working on it. We've been doing these tests with these distilled water, and we have these little petri dishes. We're trying to see if water has memory, and then but what we've definitely determined is that water will change with audible voice. But it does not change, at least for us, with any mental ideas at all. So, for instance, if I tell one water I hate it and the other water I love it, and I put it in the freezer, it will freeze differently. Well, the one that's love will kind of be a more clean look, and the one that's hate is more shattered. But if I think I love one and think I hate the other one and put them in, they both come out identical. So I'm not sure. Now I'm like looking at it like I don't even know if thoughts are as important as verbal words.
Yeah. Well, and to add to that, man, that's really cool about water memory. I think of that the vibrations that are in the radio waves or whatever, this 5G that they're amping up is so high of a frequency, it interferes with your ability to be able to super focus your thoughts. I think there was a lot of interference.
Yeah. I think that so do vaccines probably do and everything else.
But the coolest thing, I'm gonna say this one last thing and let you get to your other guests.
Thank you.
I have a documentary study that I want to send to you, and I'll do that through Telegram. But the basis of it, and I'll run it down as short as I can. But there are these scientists, or there was this older scientist that passed away. He won a Nobel Prize in physics.
Okay. Where'd you go? Hello. RG. Going once. Going twice. Later. Aaron, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Aaron?
What's going on? You look very dark. I can't barely see you. You look like a ranchero.
Yeah, I'll try to walk up under a lot.
I don't need to see you. Trust me. I just was pointing out in case you thought we saw you. We did not.
Yeah. Hey, did you get those pictures I sent you on Messenger?
On Telegram or Messenger? Oh yeah, Messenger. Yeah. Well, I've got them on my phone. What did you need up?
There's some pictures of a Saturn 1B rocket pieced apart.
Let me see here.
Are you familiar about the Saturn rocket that was at the rest stop at the Alabama-Tennessee border?
No, go ahead and tell us about it.
So there's a Saturn 1B rocket, at the rest stop at the state line of Alabama-Tennessee, and it's actually a real rocket, and it's been sitting there for years. As a Saturn 1B rocket was used for Apollo missions, but so it just started deteriorating really bad, and so nobody knew what to do with it. Nobody really knew who owned it. Did the Space and Rocket Center own it? Did NASA own it? The state didn't know if it was a monument thing or whatever. And so they decided to tear it down. And so Brenda wanted evidence. And so I think I got your evidence.
Evidence of what?
So, of how they faked the moon landing.
Oh. Okay.
They obviously faked it, right? Well, so the question is, what did these rockets really do? Like, how high did they really go, and how far did they really go?
Okay.
And so I think you could probably determine that if you looked at it. And so, who got the engine? That's the peculiar thing about this whole thing. And so,
you mean because the engine's missing?
Well, Marshall Space Flight Center got the engine.
Okay.
And they got it on August 3rd. Well, and I don't even know if they really did though, because the news stations are all announcing that NASA sent a crew there to start disassembling the engines on August 3rd, but it was actually really disassembled like September, I don't know, 11th, 17th or something like that. I don't know.
Which image do you want me to bring up? You want me to show people or?
Yeah. So look at the bottom of that. There's one picture in that group of pictures.
Well, one's video and one's picture, right?
Yeah, do the pictures.
Okay.
It's some dude's Facebook post.
Yes.
And you can look at the bottom on one of the pictures that has the bottom of the rocket.
I see it.
And so I guess the engines were attached to that, and Marshall Space Flight Center got them. And who's got them? Where'd they go? And so I think that you could, use the engine there and dissect it and figure out how the lost technology. All this technology is lost, right?
Okay. I mean, I would think that they would say they used them, but I'm not. I can't. That would be just a guess. I'm writing myself a note, but I will look into that and see. And where'd you say that is sitting? Where?
So that it was disassembled September, but it was at the Alabama-Tennessee state line at the rest stop. The state, so it's state funded.
Right.
It was a donation through the Space and Rocket Center, but NASA was kind of heading it all up. It was like donated by NASA to the Space and Rocket Center, and everybody started fighting over who should get rights to it. So it became this kind of controversial thing here in the Rocket City, and so I think that's something that you could look into, because I think you could figure out by examining those engines that it didn't go to the moon. Pretty obvious.
Okay, so, I can look into that.
Yeah, look into it. And also, have you asked any Globebusters if they'd be interested in going to the Space and Rocket Center?
I have not. No. Asked him as far as go there to infiltrate or something.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, we got to transition out of this at some point, right? We got to go from NASA fraud to NASA no fraud, right? And so we want to do that in a peaceful transit. We want a peaceful transition. We don't want 100,000 people losing their jobs and people start killing each other, right?
Correct.
So how do you do that in a peaceful fashion? And so that's what we got to figure out, geniuses.
Okay.
And so it's through the education system, and it's going to be through revealing the truth.
Yeah, which I think is the first goal. Yes.
Right. And so, have you thought about how the transition should happen? Because I kind of thought that
I don't know if it could be planned for, to be honest with you.
Because I mean, okay, so we have these lights that go across our sky that they say are satellites.
Right.
Do you think that those are man-made pseudo-satellites, or do you think that there's some other kind of thing? And
no, I think they can attach something to the top somehow.
Right, but none of that's kind of disclosed as telecommunication networks and how they all operate and all that kind of thing. And
No.
but I think that the millennials are going to learn about that pretty quick, and so yeah, I don't know. I just
hope
think
so.
I think this is a way to if you were a Nazi, okay, so if you were the Nazis in charge of it, and this rocket was giant evidence at a rest stop that's sitting there in plain sight, and all of a sudden it becomes this big controversy on who gets to get it, well, who got it, and who's who's risking everything to get it? Would those guys that tried to pull this stuff off try to get that rocket and hide it right now? Would they do that? And so, or would some rich dude try to want it to put on his farm or something like that? Or like anyhow.
All right, well, I'll talk to the guys. I'll see what they say. I mean, it'd probably be better if you called in on a Globebusters and asked us all, rather than me trying to voice what you necessarily are pitching. Because
But the cool thing about this is that this is a public project, and so this should be something that everybody should have access to. This isn't really a private thing,
right?
And so it's a rest stop at a state.
Okay.
And so I don't know where it went. It just disappeared. The only lost technology that we have in existence just disappeared.
Imagine that.
Later,
all right. Later. Appreciate the call. Let's go with Jimmy Dean Sausage. Jimmy Dean. Oh, Jimmy D. Jimmy D. I read that wrong. What's up?
Hey, can you hear me?
Very great.
All right, great. Well, I'm just gonna say I'm from Tennessee. It's over here. It's 10:30. I finally get a chance to catch you live.
All right,
Kids
sweet.
are asleep.
Must be nice.
So
get your couple, and it's like me. I love that evening when everybody's asleep. I'm like, oh, my time.
Yeah, I know. Finally get a little chance.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to talk to you about perspective.
Okay.
And how I have a kind of a theory about how it. Well, so I graduated from the University of Tennessee in 2007, architecture degree.
Okay.
And the first 2 years, they require you to draw everything by hand.
Right.
And you take some classes, and one of them is perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that was a big part for me was, whenever I saw all the stuff about the flat earth and the perspective, I was like, oh my God, I don't know why I didn't think of that before.
Right.
But especially when you're drawing it yourself. So, you have your eye line, your horizon,
correct,
and you have your vanishing point,
right,
like a 1 point perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And so anything below that eye line ramps up
correct
to the horizon, everything above, ramps down.
Right.
But, if you're thinking of it, you're only seeing it from first person looking down.
Correct.
And so I don't think, so like that grid that Dave showed on your channel not too long ago, it's like a good way to conceptualize, how it works.
Oh, right.
But if you think about that grid, it's mirrored on the top as it is on the bottom. And so the ground is only about 5 feet from your eye.
Right.
So that grid is kind of implying that the sky is only 5 feet above your eye, because it goes down. So you would almost think that as it goes down, it's hitting that same point in space as
early.
The ground.
Okay.
But I think it's actually sliding past it. And so, like you were talking about with the like the sailboat's way taller than 5 feet, so it has that bigger angle.
Correct.
And so instead of it hitting right where the horizon is, I think it's sliding way past and I say that because, like, if you're in an airplane,
mm-hmm,
you can see very far. That vanishing point is very far away.
Right.
And so nothing changed. And what's like above you when you're in an airplane, the only thing is the ground's way farther. So, that distance between eye line
and the ground.
Right. So I don't know if I can turn my camera around on here.
There should be a button to do it in settings or something.
Okay.
I'm not positive, but there should be.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, this is like okay, so this grid that I'm talking about right there, it's like a rough drawing.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I seen drawn.
So if you were to think about this from the side, from an orthogonal view,
okay,
this is kind of what it's showing, is that ground, it meets at the same point right there.
Okay.
But if you had, say, a sailboat, I'm saying it slides by. right there. And so you're seeing that ocean in the foreground, and anything in front is going to block whatever. So everything would have to disappear bottom up because of that.
Why do you think it slides past? What is your evidence of that? So I guess that's what I don't understand is what is it that's sliding past?
Okay, like think about the sun. That's really far up.
Okay.
And so I think the horizon, you can only see, I don't know what that mileage is.
Okay.
Maybe it's 3 miles, whatever.
Right.
But when you see the sun over here, you can even test where you're looking at it at sunset. If you go to time and date,
sure.
I can't see all the way to California from Tennessee. So, I mean, obviously my eyes are able to see that far, but it's just when the ground gets in the way, it becomes in the foreground. So it's like first up in your layer of vision.
So right, because you're saying that because we're short and close to the Earth, that the ending of the ground plane would happen way before the ending of the.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And whenever you're looking at it down the barrel, you can't tell because you see these clouds, they're
right.
up high and you can see them forever. And somebody mentioned on your show, like, why don't the stars bunch at the horizon?
Right.
And I just started thinking, and that's because they're really super high up.
Right.
And so that
or attached to some sort of dome or something.
Yeah. And so I mean, this makes more sense for the dome of vision to me because it'd be like an egg of vision if it landed at the horizon,
Well, I think that the sun is probably always an equal distance away from you.
Yeah, and that would explain this.
Right.
Because that's why it never changes size.
Correct.
Because when you see it come up,
it's the same size as when it
goes.
It's
never any closer or
Correct.
farther away from you.
Correct. Same distance. Yep.
I don't know. Just a thought I had.
Okay, it's a good thought. I think I want to think about it a little bit, but now that what you're drawing there with the letter A there, is that a dome or is that your dome of vision? What do you have
That's
drawn
the
there?
dome of vision.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree with that. I do think that's what's going on. I think it explains a lot, and I'm able to show with ray tracing diagrams that if you move a light source above those domes, then they render set, noon, rise, noon, set, rise, noon. So it actually displays it almost perfectly. I did have a video
I love
the other
that
day.
whenever you showed that. I mean, it's a really good visual, but I'm just trying to think, how far can I really see? And that's like, how big is this dome of vision?
Here's the thing. I mean, I think the atmosphere severely blocks our ability to see. So
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, right. So the sun is there on the other side of the Earth at night. We just can't see it. And I think that because the sun is probably up where there is no air, and I don't mean in a vacuum, I just mean very little air that we, basically we know that the air thins as we go up. So at a certain height, I would guess there's not very much. So I think that the sun might be casting light up there, but if there's nothing for light to hit, it just goes, right? There's no air for it to hit, so there's nothing for it to light up. And then when it gets closer to you, then it starts to light up the air around you. So to me, I can explain that one away. But the perspective issue with the sliding past, I do understand what you're saying. I don't know how we could show that or how we could prove that, but I do think it makes sense because I didn't think about the ground is only 3 miles away, the horizon for the ground, but there isn't really a horizon for the sky. I mean, there kind of is, but the sky things would keep going as well, right? So it's kind of like
it's so high up, it's just
correct. So you would have to adjust for that, I would think, because basically you've got a 5 foot to the ground and then 35,000 feet to where planes fly, right? So it's a big difference where that's not graphically represented at all.
Right, and I think even if it was angling down and hitting at that same level in space that the horizon is, I mean, it'd be going like straight down.
Yeah, and I guess I just can't even get behind light traveling anymore. I mean, there's no photons, and clearly nothing is mass. There's nothing of mass in light, because if there was, your eyes would be destroyed. Things going at the speed of light entering your eyeball, doesn't matter how small they are, they're going to destroy you. I mean, it's just like a micrometeoroid hitting the ISS. It should destroy it completely. It's going like 50,000 miles per hour. How would it, not? But same thing is true for photons. Photons are going a lot faster than 50 million miles per hour. And, or actually, it's probably about that, isn't it? 8 minutes an hour. No, 8 minutes and, 8 minutes to go 93 million miles. Okay, that's going to end my math for tonight. I'm not going to do the math on that one. No. But, yeah, it's going to be close to that or something. But I don't see that. And was you or the other guy talking about the reverse? Oh no, it's somebody else. The whole idea of the moon and the stars, and then using the inverse square law. To me, it just debunks it all right away.
Yeah.
Unless you let them tell you things like Brenda would. Brenda would let them tell them whatever, but they'll say things like, "Oh well, this star is 300,000 times the size of the sun," just so that its brightness matches to what they needed to. Again,
just so it balances out.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, exactly. It's just balancing the equations. And again, there's no way you can actually go verify that. And if anybody disagrees with that, then get me lined up at a some sort of what do they call observatory, where I can go and actually see them do this work. Because so far we went out to one and they were looking at the moon. It was like, why don't we look at a planet or something? Oh, tonight we're looking at the moon. I'm like, yeah, I can see the moon every night. I can see it with my own telescope. But then we're walking around looking at all these people trying to film galaxies and all this stuff. Nobody's getting anything. We can't find anything. Then we find this one guy. Everybody's at his station, and he's got this camera that's hooked up to the telescope that you can't take off. It's like attached. And then he's like pressing things on his computer. And he's like, all right, we'll get it right now. And the computer takes like 25 seconds and then puts up an image. And it was like so fake. It was like, but then, I tried to ask him, like, isn't that just fake? He's like, no, it actually knows exactly what's in the sky, and it stacks images. But again, it's like, he don't know that.
No.
I mean, it's the computer. We don't know what the computer system's doing. So, the other one I just heard that did it. Samsung, when you take a picture with your phone of the moon, it corrects it for you.
No.
Yeah, like totally changes it to. I don't have one either. I heard somebody was complaining about that, and then they're like, "Oh, that's a feature." Like, great. Now they're just giving.
This is what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, exactly. All right, anything else for me?
I got one other question for you. So, if I'm catching a show that you've done in the past, I'm watching a rerun, and I want to tip. Do you see that?
Yeah, they're called super thanks.
Yeah, so I'm sure people like to tip when it's live so that you can see it.
Right,
but
call it out.
I didn't know on one of your shows that you've already done if you get a notification.
I have a place that I look, but I don't ever get those. So I've seen like 2 since they've started, but they're called super thanks, I think. I don't even know. I've never even seen where you do one for somebody.
Yeah, I just see it on Rokfin. It says like.
Oh, Rokfin, I get texted. Rokfin, I definitely get a text telling me what the tip is. Yeah, so that's a great way to do it.
All right.
Well, thank you.
That's all I had. Thanks.
All right, talk to you later. We got up next, Hissing Possum. I don't know if I like that name. I have bad possum stories.
What's up?
What's going on? All right.
How you doing, man?
Are you hissing? Don't do it.
A little bit.
Wow, that sounded like one. Don't do it. Those things scare me. One time my dog was attacking one in the backyard, and my mom wanted me to get it out of its mouth, so I'm like chasing around with a shovel. Finally, the dog drops it. I throw 3 good wallops on this thing with a shovel. Boom, boom. Then my mom's like, he could still be alive. So I'm like, he's not alive. And then I started throwing bricks at it from a distance, and I was probably 18, 17 years old. Throwing bricks, like 2 of the bricks just landed right on it and hit him. So then I took him with a shovel, dumped him over the fence, and because we had this field behind us. Like 20 minutes later, my brother comes over, and my mom's like, "Oh, you got to go see the size of this possum that the dog had, and we go look, and the possum's gone.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? I beat the shit out of that thing and threw 2 bricks at it and landed right on its side. I was like, oh, that thing's definitely dead. Nope, it's gone.
Yeah, they're tough little bastards. So
ugly as hell.
Yeah. So yeah, man, we got a little bit of a problem here.
No problem.
It's a minority of America who makes up 2.4% of the population. If you know where I'm going.
Yeah, but should we do it on this side or? I'm trying to think.
I won't say nothing. I won't say anything.
Just be careful. Everybody knows what you're talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say you was to walk upon a car in the dark and you seen some grown man with his mouth on a baby's penis, you'd beat his ass, right?
Okay.
Save that baby. Okay. Well, this right here is legal in America for these people to do. They cut the foreskin off the baby's penis and they proceed by sucking the blood out of it. I don't know if you can see there. You probably don't want to see it, but anyway, yeah. That happens in every synagogue across America. And that same 2.4% minority are also the same people that started communism. All the founders of communism are of the same religion of the baby penis suckers.
Okay.
They're also the same people who are trying to take our Second Amendment away. All the main founders and leaders of the gun control movements are of the same religious minority. And these 2.4% minority also fill up 80% of the presidential cabinet that we have now and 90% of the previous president's administration. And they are also the ones that are behind the immigration crisis that's flooding our nation with God knows who. And there's over 32 non-governmental organizations, NGOs, over 32 of them, that are all of the same.
But if this is about the Jews that we're talking about, they're actually persecuted, so they get away with more things than most people. So you should probably just let them do what they want, because otherwise we're going to get called names. We'll get called a bigot. So it's better just to let things get run into the ground and let things go haywire and just basically end as we know it. I think that's better than to actually stand up and call them out, because then you're a bigot. So
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's what 95% of the Christians think too. They're all sold on.
Well, they believe in the Bible, and the Bible is that's God's chosen people, so they have that's their hang up.
Yes, severely tampered with book there that a lot of people are taking as 100% God's word.
Severely, and even the ones that admit that they say, "Oh, it's been changed. Oh, it's been altered," they still have this need to be, that's their focus, their main point. So
yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing. And also these same people are behind the COVID agenda, all the way from the CDC director all the way down to the head advisor of the World Economic Forum, Moderna CEO, BlackRock CEO, Pfizer CEO, all of the same tribe.
You ever heard did you ever watch wrestling?
Yeah.
Did you ever hear the Stone Cold Steve Austin interview with Paul Heyman?
No, I did not. I have to look that up.
Well, you know, Heyman's of the tribe.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It sounds like a tribe name.
I'll bring it up for you. We'll watch it as you head out.
Yeah. And then, I'll just make this one the last one. So all your pornography and your hookup culture, every porn website is all of the same tribe. And Al Goldstein here, he says the only reason they are in pornography is that we think Christ sucks and that Catholicism sucks. And I could go on and on and on and on.
Yes,
and
that's
on.
really good. All right, we'll watch this, and then we're
I
gonna.
can't kill the thing, but I can.
I'm gonna watch this, and then we'll let you go. See if
Alrighty.
you can see it okay here. But thanks for calling in. We will talk to you soon. Appreciate the call.
All right.
And we got one more call.
Everything you do, brother.
Hey, thanks. But watch this. It's pretty telling here, I think. Let's take a look.
Okay.
Where is the? Come on. What's it? Why did we do that? Oh, wait. Nope. I guess I would just watch from there. It's gonna not be the full size, but oh wait, I can do this one. Or not. I think I'm thinking of my other. Yep, that's not gonna work. All right, we'll go with this one. Here we go. This is just a minute.
Hang out with us.
Okay.
I'm a Jew, and my people, we're not hunters, we're furriers. You know, I mean, you see, the whole crew's laughing now about that, especially the guy over there who's Jewish, because he knows. Like, I can't kill the thing, but I can make you a nice lapel out of it.
Why don't you get into diamonds as well? How y'all in, as you would say, diamonds, furs, movie business? What's the deal here? It's a monopoly?
What? What?
Your people.
My people.
Yeah.
We own everything.
I know.
The media.
How is that?
Well, because we're the smart people. We're the Jews. You know, I mean, we screwed up in the Middle East. You know, I mean, and we did. I mean, I can speak about this because I mean, we're supposed to be the chosen people, and here we picked the only piece of land in the Middle East that has no oil on it. Everything we have is sand and the Mediterranean Sea, which for generations people have been trying to push us out into. You know, every Jewish holiday is the same thing. They tried to kill us and we're still alive. So, I mean, you know.
Hey, I got.
He's piece of work, those guys, man.
Wow.
You could just see he was so shocked that he was
Ladies
asking.
and gentlemen,
Like,
there is a
stop it.
buzz.
He's like, are you asking about why we are, heads of the diamond business and heads? He's like so taken aback, like what? Like what? How did you guys do it?
I'm gonna have to get that and spread that around. I never seen that before.
Never seen that? Yeah, it's pretty good, pretty interesting. All right, thanks, Hiss and Possum. Talk to you soon.
All righty, man. You have a good one.
Later. We've got Sacred Knowledge to round it out. You've never been the last on the show. Whoops, I pushed the wrong button. Sacred, what's up? Sacred?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Do you have a headlamp on? Are you in? Yes, I hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Damn. Dude, I've been waiting so long and I got the headlight on, sorry.
I noticed.
I keep getting disconnected. I don't know if the damn thing hates me or what, but how's it going?
Good, you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Sorry, I had the headlight on.
I know.
Anyway, just wanted to say what's up, and I haven't heard from what's her name because I wanted to still do that debate.
Karen?
But Karen B. Okay. I emailed her, but I didn't hear back. So maybe I don't know what's going on.
Give me your email address.
My email is hiphopnow. I shouldn't give this online, but I should do this online.
Okay,
but anyway,
can you put it in the chat, in the private chat?
I'll just say it. Fuck it.
Okay.
hiphopnow@mail.com.
Okay. Hiphopnow.
@mail.com.
I will tell Karen and you guys could debate on my show if you want.
I mean, I tried to give me her email address one more time if you can. Because I did email her.
I don't know. Karen at Flat Earth Festivals. Let me find a brand. I don't remember.
Yeah, I tried a couple of those. That sounds familiar. Like I tried that one, but maybe she just doesn't care or something. Who knows? But anyway,
probably a little bit of that.
So yeah, I mean, I got plenty of evidence and pictures, so people can see stuff that it's like way out. You don't see it unless you really start to research it. But anyway, beyond that, I was going to tell you something about. Let's see. Hold on. Let me just refresh my memory real quick. So I had it written down. Oh yeah, Sticky Fingers. That you had. Can you still see me? Sticky Fingers. You had that song he did.
The Flat Earth rap.
The Flat Earth song. Yeah, that was tight. I met him one time. I worked on a movie with him for like a week out in the desert.
Oh, nice. I used to listen to a lot of Onyx.
Yeah, they're dope. He's really good lyricist. Even though they're all crazy and violent and shit, but they're smart. But what else was I going to tell you? The other thing I was going to tell you was about because I saw that you had made that song and talking about Sticky Fingers with a Flat Earther, and a lot of rappers are actually.
It's here's your email address is flatearthfestivals@protonmail.com.
Okay, flatearthfestivals@protonmail.com. I'll try it again. So I was going to tell you, have you know?
Good.
I guess I'll reveal some stuff. Check it, or not. I could reveal more, but I don't want to say too much on your show. But like the word like mock and mocking and Mach 1, like flying speed of sound, you know?
Okay.
So Mach is the word, first syllable of the word machina, or mach, like machine.
I like it.
Mach, you know? So, and also machine. So what I'm trying to say here is that, I saw some other similarities, just like in yoga,
You froze or something. Looks like you froze. Let's go to Alex. Welcome to the show.
Bro, thank you. This is actually my second time calling in.
Yes, I know. I remember. You were first.
Yeah, I was first, and now this.
You're the alpha and the omega, the first and the last. How about that?
Oh, dude, that'd be amazing.
What's up?
Hey, bro. Okay, so
I'm going to go 3 minutes only here. 3 minutes. 3:15.
Okay, yeah, I got it. All right. What do you think about like rock and roll and them talking about like rock and roll and kind of like God?
What? How so? What do you mean?
Like
it's the weirdest question I've ever been asked.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
What do you think about rock and roll and God? Well,
On My Wayward Son, like all these like rock and roll songs like pertain to like God.
Okay. I don't know.
like, how do you feel about rock and roll? Well, back in the day, not currently.
I don't know. I think music is always used against us in a way, but I mean, it can also be good. So it just depends. I mean, you'd have to tell me the exact singer you're talking about. I mean, there's a lot of music that I think is good. Music definitely is something we all feel, that that even babies feel. So much more than like other animals feel music. We feel music. It's definitely a bringing together of people for like native dancing and things like that. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of importance to it, and I think it could probably heal and things like that, because again, it's sound and vibration. But again, anything that was a healing frequency or something is going to be hidden or demonized, or nobody's ever heard of that particular hertz or whatever. So I don't know. To me, definitely some music now is just, I feel like it's almost satanic. I feel like metal and stuff like that is, I don't know how anybody listens to that. But that's, again, my music taste has changed since I was a teen too. So I guess maybe back then I could have listened to it. I certainly can't now. So I don't know. I guess it's a weird question. Definitely artists are going to, just like people who play sports are religious. And probably mostly because they prayed a lot to get to the big leagues, or they prayed for a big play and got it. There's some, or they feel lucky for what they did. So that I can see why people find God there. And I feel the same way for music. It doesn't surprise me that somebody who made it big somehow in like music or something probably feels like they got lucky a few places. And I think then you would tend to start believing in a creator, because otherwise you would have to ask like, well, what is it? It's all just an accident, and I accidentally got this position. So to me, I'm never surprised when people that have money and fame and fortunes find God, because it's very easy to do. This is why all the baseball players, point to heaven when they get to home plate, and mostly, and then you're going to have people who prayed to get to the big leagues and didn't make it, who probably no longer believe in God.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Last thing, two things. Sports are rigged, which I feel like they are, honestly. I think
my guess would be that you didn't play sports.
I fucking played sports, and that's what
in high school?
That blows my mind, because there's no way that I would ever fucking throw a game.
Right. So why do you think that the people who play sports would? Well, no, I'm not even going to say that, because I'm not against people throwing games. That definitely happens, I'm sure. That's the reason why sports athletes are paid so much. If people don't realize that, is because they have to keep them from being enticed by that, because otherwise the mob would just pay player. I mean, if the player was making $20,000 a year, well, then you could easily pay that player $50,000 to throw a game. What?
Do you think the refs are fixed?
They can be, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the NBA, there's no way that they don't get told on, if it's a 3-0 game in the finals, they don't say, they definitely say, let's try and take this to another couple games,
Yeah, like the Sacramento Kings getting fucked over the Lakers when they played in the series.
Right.
Like, one ref got fucking... Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that happens all the time. But as far as like rigged or scripted, it just depends. I think sometimes...
Right? You can't really
do
that. I'm saying it's difficult. Like, you can't tell.
It's way harder to do than people think. Yes. And plus, that's how you get injured. So in a football game, you have to go 100%. You can't dilly-dally. You can't I'm going to half tackle this guy. That's how you get hurt. So people don't really realize that, and they think that these guys are going out there and letting people miss tackles or missing tackles on purpose. I don't think that's happening as much.
Crazy. Like, that is very hard to believe.
Yeah, well, there's also people out there who think that there's magnets in the field goal posts and things like that, which I guess don't sit in the first 10 rows with jewelry on.
But not like a whole script of a game, honestly.
No, but I do think that, for instance, there's a lot of things that happen. Like, what year was it that the Yankees played the Mets in the World Series? Wasn't it the same year as 9/11?
There's a bunch of weird coincidences like that.
But it's like beyond coincidence. It's almost like that's the direction they wanted to go, right? Which I understand that. I mean, that's not that I understand, but that I'm not saying could not happen, because I do think, like when the Cubs won the World Series, like that wasn't it 100 years to the year that they were? What year did they didn't win? 2006, did they?
Football and But dude,
Cubs World Series. But there's a lot of those where they're just like really strange. Like how? So 2006. So it was a year. And what year did they win before that? Was it? I thought it was 2006. Was it? I mean 1996. What was their?
Another thing. Okay, last thing. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Okay. Robert Kennedy getting shot, and then I guess I never knew this, but it was 10 years later that the video surfaced of him getting assassinated.
Correct. You mean
Damn?
You mean You mean the Zapruder film?
The film of him getting like shot in the chest, and then
yeah, the Zapruder film didn't come out until after, like 10 years after the event. So they had, and there's missing frames. It's a known thing. So that was a cover up for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Or, I mean, a lot of people think it's a hoax. I think he died personally, but what are my evidence of that?
There's theories that he's alive. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, some people think that. Some people think his son is still alive. No, to me, I don't. That's where I lose kind of most of the conspiracy theorists, that they think that like Kobe didn't die and he's on an island, or that Epstein didn't die and he's on an island. I don't really think that happens as much as people think.
Telling us that they found all these different islands. I'm like, that is so fucking weird.
Yeah, 7,000 islands in Japan or something.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, I just don't think. I mean, I don't think Kobe leaves his wife and child and lives with his other daughter and just.
Nah, I don't believe that.
Yeah, I just don't. I think we would have, something like that would have been found out somehow. Wouldn't just be. He has to make calls when nobody's looking, and she has to pretend like she's on the phone with somebody else when she talks to him. I just don't believe those things. Now, some people tell me, well, you're not one of these elite, and they agree when they make all this money that they're going to have to do this. Yeah, that's true. I mean, if that's what they do, then
yeah, like right. Elvis and
right.
Kennedy, like, it's like you almost want to believe it, but you can't. It's like it's really difficult.
I mean, because if I start believing in that, then it opens up too many possibilities, and then you're just like, well, how are you ever going to research any of this? If I now have to assume, and here's the other thing: is like every celebrity that dies, I've heard conspiracy theorists say that they're not dead. So literally,
isn't Jim Carrey fucking weird? Like,
who?
He's like,
all this. Absolutely. But I'm just saying that if every time I hear a celebrity died, people say he didn't die, then I'm like, well, then celebrities don't die, because there's never a celebrity that dies that I'm told is dead. They're always, oh no, it's a lie. I'm like, that's just too far for me. I think it's an endless rabbit hole that you're not going to discover something in. So it's kind of like, I don't go down that road. At least in this world that they've created, that person's dead. Kobe's gone, right? Now, if you want to believe he lives on an island and I want to believe he doesn't, okay, well, it doesn't make a difference. Kobe's gone. So we don't need to argue about it. You don't even need to, we don't even talk about it much.
Hard to prove either way.
Yeah. Although it's probably not that hard to prove, because you could probably talk to family members and things to the point where you're like, oh, okay, he is gone, but not according to RV.
Doing all the, I don't know. Yeah. All right, bro. All
right.
Well, thank you.
Have a good one.
Appreciate it. You have a good one too.
Thanks. Peace. We have one more person, conspiracy extremist. What's up, boss?
Hey, what's up, man?
How are you?
Can you hear me all right?
Very great.
Awesome. Well, I was going to ask you what conspiracies you might think is made up or kind of doesn't have any evidence, but kind of went over that. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think we give the powers that be too much power, and I think that they love it, right? Like if you believe that they can clone people, then I believe that they sit around just laughing hilariously, because that's like making them God. God can make life, and if you believe that they can make life and make it exactly like some other life, then to me, that is you giving them godlike abilities. And I think they're just a bunch of dirtbags. I really think that we talked about it tonight on my show at the False Flag Show. Everything they do is a lie. It's all a setup. They go into countries and pretend one thing's happening and then tell us, and then they use that as a pretense to go to war. So like all they're really good at is just being deceivers. They're not good at they don't make shit. They're not the ones inventing things. They're not the ones building things. They are just the reapers of what we create. So I'm not going to give them power until they prove to me they can clone somebody. Well, you can't, and they're never going to do that. So why would I believe that? So to me, I would give them power when they've earned it, and they haven't really earned that power yet. So I don't believe in cloning. I do believe that you could have body doubles, but as far as like cloning, no. And I do believe that even that people have said, oh, they take twins and then they raise them separately. I'm like, that's not how people look alike at the end of their life. Like Donald Trump, if he had a twin when he was born, would look much different than him now. The only reason you look the same as your twin a lot is because you eat the same foods, you're from the same area, you breathe the same air. But if one twin starts smoking cigarettes and the other one doesn't, they'll look different real quickly. So it's kind of the same thing. Is like I could see body doubles or finding somebody who looks like Trump now, and I'm sure they have that. For sure they have that. I've even seen the body double for Biden. So, but as far as like whether they can clone somebody, I mean, that's just to me so far-fetched, but yet a lot of people do believe it. So that's one.
Well, yeah, and plus, if you don't believe nukes are real and we don't have the power to destroy God's earth, then it's kind of hypocritical. Well, not hypocritical, but doesn't really line up if you think that humans can obtain eternal life.
Right. If they can clone people, then I really want to give up researching stuff, because then you're not fighting fair. If basically I say that guy did something, but that's not really him, it's his clone. I mean, then you're just like, what are you really doing? It's like, I don't know. To me, I think things are more simple than that. I don't think they can clone people. They like claim they can clone dogs, but they kill like half of the ones that are born because they're not the same looking as their parent. And think of how easy it is to clone a dog. A dog doesn't have, a voice, a mannerisms. So they just get basically the cells of the dog and then try and create a dog that looks the same. That's all they really try and do. And then they call it pet cloning. But
right. I mean, you can't, I don't believe you can create a soul. So, I mean, you might be able to clone a body, but
I don't even think you could do that. I mean, the body, I don't think we can animate without the soul. So I'm not sure you could create. Now, I don't know if you saw those robots that were at that football game.
Football game. The one from the Chicago robots.
They had like two robots that were like theirs for like movies or something. Like a movie's coming out with these robots in it, so they went and attended the game and actually sat in seats. But I knew it, when they showed all the angles, I'm like, they probably had handlers right there. Like, it's not. They want you to think they're so much further along with this AI and don't get me wrong, artificial intelligence is here, but it's not artificial intelligence. Everything that AI knows is taught to it by humans. Didn't learn anything.
Yeah, that's why people are afraid it's going to compete with like artists and whatnot, but they're not human. They don't have that. They can't obtain what humans can with art, that creativity. They're just replicating. They can't create, nothing out of something.
Yeah, they're just, with the art thing, they're just throwing things together and they can do it, but it's been taught. That's the thing, is that we taught it that. So it's not intelligence if you have to basically, you're the one who's programming it. Like a computer can't do something it's not programmed to do. So that's why when I hear these guys talk about, oh, it's going to, the robots will come after us. It's like, yeah, if you program to do that, but if you don't program to do that, then they can't do that. They don't think for themselves. They don't,
Cool, right on, man.
Do you have any that you think are outrageous, or? But I also have beliefs that I think is crazy. I also have things that I think that nobody else does. I think the moon is closer. Is further than the sun. So I have crazy beliefs too.
I think the whole like the vaccine made to kill people is ridiculous. I work in the mortuary business, and that documentary that came out a little while back, Died Suddenly. Was that it?
Yeah.
The whole thing with the clot stuff. Anytime you embalm someone, you get those crazy clots. And I've asked morticians and stuff, and they're just, we don't know what you're talking about. So maybe there's some truth to it, but I think it's way blown out of, it's fear mongering, which.
Well, I think that they have the ability to use radio waves to activate certain things in vaccines. I think that wouldn't be a stretch. And so from that, though, what are they really doing with it? And I wouldn't think they would want people to die, because that would be a big red flag right from the start, right? So it's going to be hard to sell people on a vaccine if people are dying. So I don't think that was intended. I think it did worse in people than they expected. And so I do think that the people who took them they should try and detox immediately.
I'm not saying you should.
No.
I think there's a lot of fear mongering.
Yeah, and I don't think if the elite wouldn't want to kill the people that do whatever they tell them to do and then leave all the people that are against everything they do, which is the idea of that is basically. So I think it's more likely that they release some airborne pathogen or something to try and get those who don't have the vaccine sick. Who knows, though? I mean, again, maybe they don't even have the ability to do that. I'm just not going to be scared of it, whatever they're going to do. Like, if they want us all dead, then they're going to basically figure out a way to do that. We're not going to be able to stop that. So they can't have us all dead. We're the ones who make all their shit. We're the ones who advance technology and move things along. So I think, but they want less. You know, at this point, humans are a liability. At this point, there's a negative return on investment per human, and they know that. The elite sees that. So how do they get it down to a manageable number? I think that they're willing to do anything. I think that they would be willing to take a tsunami or an earthquake or an asteroid or whatever they can muster up to get the population back down by half or so.
Yeah, but we can't be. I mean, people shouldn't be scared. You know.
No.
You know, the way we fight back is we take care of our family. We have big families. I mean, I got my 4th kid on the way.
Nice.
You know, I don't care what they think. You know, I'm going to protect my family. I got a big ass garden. You know. Yeah, that's the way we don't worry about them. You know, everything's consent and take care of your family.
And I do think that there's maybe like an end goal. Like for me, I mean, I would be completely happy if I ever had land in Texas with a pool and with some fruit trees and with some dogs, and like I really don't need anything else. So it's just like getting there, and it's like a mission to get there because you have to go through their system, you have to play with the finances, you have to use their credit cards and their, you know, but then eventually you have this end goal. I hope I get there one day, and if not, well, what are you gonna do?
Yep, you can only do what you can control.
That's it. All right, well, thank you, my friend.
Right on, man. Have a good night.
Peace. All right, we are done, I believe. Wait, who did I not hang up on? Was Alex the one who called first? He was, so he's already been on twice. All right, guys, it's been fun, but it's already 9:15, and I'm about to embark upon a journey to Baby Jeterland. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's pretty nice. I'll enjoy it. So, again, Saturday, if you are doing nothing and you're in the Bay Area, Santa Cruz, Monterey, you know, San Jose, Santa Cruz, SoCal, Capitola, somewhere in there, and you want to come by and do a little observation with us, I'm not taking any more calls, so sacred knowledge that it's you. So come on by, and it's because I got a 9 o'clock tomorrow morning with... So 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, no Jeranism show tomorrow, it was today. 9 a.m. tomorrow, we've got Austin versus that guy Jake. It will be a barn burner, if you will. Should be interesting to see. And then we've got Saturday at 12 noon. If you are at New Brighton Beach, bring a mirror, and it can be any size, you know, 8-inch circle or a foot by a foot or 4 foot by 1 foot, whatever you have. And the bigger the better, but you can 8-inch mirror would work as well. And bring those to New Brighton Beach right around noon. I'll give a call to the guy Mark that's going to be over there, and he will let everybody know that I'm ready to start observing. And then I'll be looking for the mirror flashes at that point. Hopefully it goes really well. It's a 24 miles, which is the longest mirror flash I will have seen, at least down low like that, not 180 miles over the mountains or something. But it would be huge. It's literally impossible on a globe that you'd be able to see somebody that far below the so-called hump, the so-called horizon line, the so-called peak between you two, causing the obstruction. So let's see what happens. And the thing is, even if we don't see it, which I don't anticipate not seeing it, but that would be weird actually to me. But if we don't see it, then I think I can start exploring these ideas of light gets retarded by the atmosphere. Right? So if you picture the buildings in Chicago, okay? All those buildings have light that we see that comes from these buildings, or we're seeing through the atmosphere at the buildings. But if you picture we know that it hits a more dense medium and things go down. Okay, so if you think about it, think of that light coming off the buildings and it's kind of starting to go down because it's hitting more and more atmosphere as it goes. And so what would you lose first? Well, the light from the very bottom of those buildings would go straight out for a little bit, and then it would duck down and it would hit the ocean. So that means that light never reached your eye. So from your position on the beach, 50 miles away or whatever it is, when you look out over that water, you see the buildings that light did hit your eye. So the buildings that are, the top half of those buildings, that light was able to make it all the way over because especially there's less atmosphere as you go up. So therefore buildings at 1,700 feet obviously are going to have a less restricted path than buildings down low. So then you have all that light kind of coming at you, and there's some of it that hits the water. And then what would your eyes do to make up for the stuff that they lost because it never got there? Well, they would just fill in with water. Like what else could it possibly do? That's what's in the path between you and the buildings is water. So it has to fill something there. It has to fill what else are the options? So to me, that might be something that, so when we go out and we see a 14-mile mirror flash, it's because the atmosphere was such that the light went through it, or that we were able to see through the atmosphere enough to see that light. And I think sometimes you might not be able to do that because the light actually doesn't reach you. Now, they have a whole convoluted nonsense where they say, like MC Toon actually says that light bending down causes things to be seen as higher. So he says refraction is the seeing of things higher. But if you go to pencil in water refraction, I mean, this is where it's just like these guys are not even being honest with anybody. Because if you look at this, I mean, in what way does this show the pencil as being higher? It does not. It shows the pencil as being lower. So that means that when things hit a denser medium, they shift down. Okay, they don't shift up. This is why this pencil here is seen lower. This pencil lower. This pencil lower. This pencil lower. Okay, now this pencil is higher, but I don't know why that would be. That's a drawing. Doesn't look right. So again, this one's lower. So if you kind of get the idea what that is, it's the item's going here, and then all of a sudden it supposedly, that's almost like that's not the same because this is magnified because we're seeing it through the glass, not because of the water. I'm just wondering why, why does it just stop right there? I don't know. I'm kind of confused. This goes down, it hits the water, and then we see it reappear here. But I'm trying to think, if light was going down this way and then it bent, I don't understand why you wouldn't get a bend like this. It really displaces the whole pencil. See, like here, that's just really weird to me. So we can see it going here, and then the fact that it hits the water would cause it to shift this way. Yeah, I don't get that really. I mean, this is what we do see. It's almost like this is a magnified view, not so much a refracted view. Which I guess maybe is the same thing. Refraction is magnification. Let's see here. So it's showing here. Now here it's showing something different. This is showing what I would think would happen. Although, wait, if it's going this way, why wouldn't it hit the denser medium and go down? I don't even think they know what they're talking about, to be honest with you. Why would they show this picture? This is so wrong. There's not one actual real example that looks like that. I've never seen a thing bend that way. Look, it's in water. It's never doing that. So, weird. Anyway, I don't know why they would do that. Yeah, this is what we see. That's what we see. That's a little bit more like what we see. Maybe that's what they were trying to do here. I don't know. Anyway, refraction, very different, very weird. And I just think that there's a chance that maybe the reason, because there is a weird thing that happens when we see water cover things in the distance. Like it looks like water's covering half the buildings in Chicago sometimes. And that's a weird one to explain. But at the same time, I think that something as easy as just a change in the way we think about light would explain it. Like, why is it showing this? That's not what you see either. Because really, this drawing is what's supposed to happen. So here's your incident ray, which would be the light. And then when it hits the water, it angles down. Right, here's your angle of incidence equals angle of refraction. So again, how does this coincide with this? This shows the ray coming in, it hits the water, and then it gets retarded. So this should come in, hit the water, and then get retarded. Not bend out. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know really. All these little drawings are so bad. What is this one showing? Pencil placed in exact center of container. Pencil placed to the left of the container. Pencil placed on far left side of container. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that really explains a lot about the sun, to be honest with you. What we've said, I've showed before. If you take a magnifying half glass, I have one. Yeah. If you take a magnifying half glass and you see if we can make this work behind me. So you can see my sign there, right? The Jeranism sign. You can see it in there. We'll make it bigger here. Let's see. Let's go with where are we at? Webcam solo. And go over there. All right. So see, that's not gonna really work. Can I get that sign there? No. That was better before. I can see it. Oh, there it is, kind of right there. All right, you see it there? Oh, my hand's in the way. We'll figure out a way to do this. Because I want to show you that you, by moving it, that's why things displace. Right. So you see here now the light is way over there, right? And then if you move it over here, now we can trace that light and we can make it over here. So really, when you think of the sun and where you see it, it would all depend on what medium you're seeing through. To say the sun is there, well, it'd be the same as this being the medium that you're looking through, and then you telling me that my light is over here, right? Right there. Well, it's not. It's over behind me there. But based on where you're at in this viewpoint, you can see that that light moves, which is what would be above us. I mean, yeah, you got people who say, we don't live in a glass paperweight. Nobody's saying that, but this emulates the same as the atmosphere. It's very small, but if you blew this up as big as, you know, the area that we're in, and you use atmosphere, the same as, which is, that's what air is, right? Air can work as a lens. It can work. That's what the atmosphere is. It's really a lens. So, all right. I'm going to head out. Tomorrow, 9 o'clock, we've got Austin versus Jake right here on my channel. Then we've got Saturday, New Brighton Beach. Be there before noon. Or if you want to be at Pacific Grove, if you want to come see me, we'll probably go out and eat after or something. And that's it for me for now, I believe. Are we getting anything? No, I think that's it. All right, guys. Much love to you. Let me check real quick, make sure I don't need to say thank you to anybody, but I do appreciate all the support. Very much needed at this time. If you want to help out, you can send $1 on Cash App. You just type in $Jeranism. Pretty simple to do. And send me $1 if you had an hour worth of entertainment tonight. That could be worth $1. And it could be worth 10. Really could be worth 700. I mean, if you think about it, it's probably, or 800. Let me see what we got here. I like 800 better. No, and if you want to bring me gifts to Vegas, that's fine. I would appreciate that, but not required. Not required. Let's go with the. Sorry, I'm gonna put that wrong. Here we go. Just want to make sure I don't have super chats. I didn't have my notifications on. What do you got to go to? I forget. Earn and supers. There. Do we have anti supers? I said. Yeah, we do. Charlie, you didn't come on the show. That's right. We'll get by, Charlie. We'll get by without you. 1 week won't kill us. So we have Charlie who says some support for speakers on the corner. Charlie, thank you very much. That's a huge tip. I do appreciate it. And Jason L, thank you very much. I appreciate the $10 support. And then let's go over to Rokfin and see who be there. Who be there? Do I have any other funny stories to tell you from this week? Mavi's 3, I told you that. All right, I think you knew that. Big boy. He's cute as could be. He is going to a little bit of speech therapy because not quite where he should be, but I think he just is a maverick and just, you know, hears us and just doesn't really want to talk much. But he's gotten so much better just in the last 2 weeks. And really, it's like, I think it's a good idea what they have us doing with him, which is basically setting him up for places that he has to talk. And that's really seemed to be working. Because before we just kind of do everything for him, and then you ask him to say stuff, and he's just like, eh. And he just like says words all the time, but he doesn't ever like make sentences, not like bigger than 2 words, which at 3, I think you're supposed to already be past that. But he's so smart when it comes to, he's going to be so smart with math and letters and stuff. I mean, he's like going to pass me up. He's going to be like, Dad, the reciprocal of the coefficient of the sine of the latitude. I'm going to shut up, kid. Don't talk to me about that stuff. Let's talk about NASA faking space. No. Hold on one second. Let me check this. Okay, got that. And let's check here on Rokfin. Make sure we are all set. Thank you guys for being here. 221 people. Nice. I hope you had a good evening. And where's Rokfin? There we go. Rokfin, we've got $7 in the tips. We were going to say thank you to Flat Earth Eric. Please read the tips carefully and fully. Love ya, mean it. Thank you very much, Eric. Very kind of you. I'm reading them carefully, fully, and carefully. And we got Fishhead Montana. What's up? Haven't seen you in a little while. What up, Jaron? Thank you much for the $2. You guys are all very kind. Do appreciate it. All right. Much love to you guys. I am heading out to the garage. Have a good evening. We'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, 9 o'clock, right here on the Jeranism channel, where all the coolest people are. All the cool cats be. Let's play a song on the way out of here. What do we want to listen to? You want to listen to the Jaren song? Probably. Why else would you want to listen to anything else? That's the question. I don't think you would. Unless I've got something else. Do you want to listen to... We could listen to the Sticky Fingers. What else have I heard lately? I heard anything good lately. Oh, I do like the... Taxpayer. I'm going to listen to one more time. Taxpayer by... what's his name? Samson. I think he does a great job. He's a good actor when he acts through the actual thing. Sincerely, a taxpayer. Yeah, we'll watch this. Guys, till next time. This has been Jeranism. Much love. Peace.
I'm hurting. I can feel my money draining. They take everything I make and you wonder why I'm complaining. I break my neck to make this money that they just come and take it from me. My wages ain't that great in the first place. I should be paying you nothing, but they keep on coming and they keep on taking. These motherfuckers go ham on me every time I bring them the bacon. And I wonder what it's for. Ukraine, great funding a war. Have we spent enough yet? Should I guess not? Look, here they come for some more. Fuck me, I'm sore. Sucks being poor. You had the same job for the last 6 years, wasn't struggling before. Back when Trump was in office, fuck all the junk that they called him. I never saw any of the shit that people always said he was in the comments. All of it was nonsense. I ain't even trying to ride him either. I'm just saying you gotta admit that shit was fine when he was the leader. It was fine when he was in charge. I never saw bills as high as they are. I never got chills just literally thinking about filling up my car. It shouldn't be that way. I don't care about Russia or Ukraine, but I do care about my own country. Is that insane? I care a lot about all the tons of money that we're paying because it's mine, not yours, and I'm the one that feels the pain. I get taxed on my fucking ass for every dime I make. It'd be fine if they would spend my money wisely, but no way. It'd be great if they would take it and pay for important shit that benefited you and me and not just wage your wars with it. And where the fuck are all the liberals? I thought you stood against this shit. I thought the war machine was your enemy. Now you're friends with it? Now you want to go to war? Now you want to fight? Now you want to pick sides in a feud where everyone is white? Now you want to get involved and go and blow a person up? I'm just saying, I'm surprised this altercation ain't diverse enough. No one deserves this stuff. I just don't believe the tears you weep. Countries where brown people get bombed every day. I don't hear a peep, you fucking hypocrites. Thought the race thing was your shtick. I thought as long as white people were involved, you don't give a shit. Those are your words, not mine. I'm just wondering why. Why do we have endless money for them and none for Hawaii? Why is it every time Zelensky needs a loan from someone, we're the only ones that give it to him like we owe him something? We got issues of our own here at home that no one's discussing, and they keep growing cause no one in power is gonna do nothing. We're stuck. How the fuck we gonna help somebody else when we can't even reach inside our own pockets to help ourselves? We could allocate that money to our own people in different ways, to clothe and feed and bathe and let them know it'll be okay. We could definitely do that. Don't tell me it's not that simple. People overcomplicate this and make it some fucking riddle like can't just feed everyone. Are you insane? You know how much that costs? Way less than we've sent to Ukraine. I know that for sure. You don't have to be a mathematician or a foreign relations expert to figure out that division. You don't have to draw a graph to see it would cost a fraction to solve half of the problems we have and stop them from happening. I'm just saying, what kind of fucking world we living in? So many billions we've given them. When's Europe chipping in? When we gonna start splitting and stirring up the dividends and begin telling other nations it's your turn to lend a hand? Listen, I don't think Ukraine deserves any of this, but I also don't think Zelensky is as great as they said he is. I don't believe the media when they blurt shit on their shows. You'd have to be naive to think this dude's as pure as driven snow. No one is, especially when you run a nation, dog. Your morals are compromised the minute that you take the job. So I don't trust Zelensky, Putin, Biden, or anyone. I don't think any of them give a fuck about all us little ones. All the people of Russia, all the people of Ukraine, most of the people of the USA probably feel the same. We don't want this shit, it's only the elites that do. They line their pockets, they profit from this, but not from me and you. Quite the contrary, in fact, we pay for it with our lives and money. They take chunks of everything we make. You soldiers die for nothing, so they can gain some more power and keep their banks fat. And all we get is table scraps. Fuck yeah, it makes me mad. Fuck yeah, I get upset. We're constantly ignored. Why the fuck I gotta pay for this? I don't want this war. How the Pentagon have $6 billion unaccounted for, but when I do my taxes, I'm afraid to be $1 short. I'm afraid I'll go to jail. I'm afraid I'll do some time if I don't pay you back do about it. There's never a plan of action, all we seem to do is shout it, and I'm guilty of it too. Always bitching and complaining, never walking, always talking, always lipping off and saying I'ma do shit but I don't. And to be honest with you, that's the reason I don't make a lot of songs, and that's the truth. I'm sick of bumping my gums, I'm tired of flapping my jibs. Something needs to be done, and I don't know if rapping is it. We need a real solution, but we need to get together first, because unless we're all in this as a whole, it'll never work. However, what do I know? I'm just a moron with a pen, but there's power in numbers, and there's more of us than them.
The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged, and nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hardworking people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on, continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all, at all, at all.